start bitching until 5 minutes later.
No, I already hit the button. It's too late. We're live. Come on in,
Oh,
folks. Come on in. We see you out there in the
You
hall.
heard
Come on
nothing.
in. Hit that button. Hit that like button as you walk through the door. We see you there. The chat is open. Use the chat. Tell us what's happening. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, the 18th of September already, 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in. Come
Yes,
on in.
sir.
Happy you're here. We see you all out there. There's chairs in the front of the room if you have to have it. Need to sit. No refreshments today.
I forgot mine.
These tickets are damn expensive, though. God.
Mhm.
We have to watch our costs. Our overhead is important here.
So what's everyone been up to this week?
I'm getting ready for 2 weddings right now. My kids are both, one is getting married this week, another in 2 weeks. So
Oh, wow.
it's been great.
Why is that? Holy crap. That's
Yeah,
in a
that's-
row, too.
That's scary.
It's now officially broke, can't you, Ted?
Yeah, very great of them, both of them. But I'm happy for it's awesome.
He's just spent
But,
30 years working 18-hour days, 7 days a week to give it all away to his kids.
But you know what? That's what we're supposed to do, right?
No,
and working on
no, it's
Retreat
not.
3. That's it. Just working on books, art and books and weddings. That's it. So, how about you
Did you ask your kids whether they've ever heard of the expression breathing room?
Yes. That's why they say, that's why we gave you 2 weeks. So,
Oh, is that right? Okay.
You should have had a joint wedding. Why not?
Yeah, right?
Or just
Right.
a wedding
Right.
with joints.
That's right. Well,
You're in Michigan.
that
It
remains
can
to be
happen.
seen in Michigan. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But hey,
Rush, your
I don't
cap
judge.
is awesome from the top, but when you're bending forward, it actually doesn't work.
What?
Mm.
Your other camera
What,
looking
this
at
this one?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you doesn't
When
matter.
you're bending forward, we only see your cap.
Yeah, okay. It's
Great.
that's a good looking cap, though. That's
Cap
a good
cam.
At least it's a
The
cap.
cam. There we
I
go.
like
bald
it.
head.
I like
Yeah.
it. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, if it was my head, it would just be like gleaming.
It's just
You'll
it's
be
a
able to
hat
see
show
anything.
anyway, Jimmy. You got to get a
Yeah.
hat, man.
Yeah, you got to get,
Fine.
Yeah,
Hold on.
get a hat.
Like one
Get a
second.
hat.
1 second.
get with the
All
gang, man.
Don't
Get
you
with
get
it.
ahead, get a hat.
Okay, now's your chance. Just kidding. Just
Where
kidding.
the fuck am I?
There.
There we go. That's all I got.
Oh my God.
Oh, dear.
Oh God.
And there we
It was
go.
like a Pops type of hat.
I hate wearing hats.
A Pops type of hat? There you
Yeah,
go.
lots of badges on it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no. We got tons.
Here's a little something this morning. A cartoon from my youth.
Ah,
Ah,
Wow, it's in color. Really?
I love this.
oh, come on, Ted.
He's at it again.
All right, I was expecting the opening theme here. Instead, you're getting a scene. So,
Was the episode called The Butterfly Effect?
yeah, look at those modern computers.
Was it filmed in the dark?
Pretty much. Save money that way. Lots of black and blue paint there. Standard explosion. I think it was Hanna-Barbera, but it's not. I think it's to Patty Freeling.
Well, gentlemen,
Well,
what do
gentlemen.
you make of that?
It's a butterfly, sir. But I don't see what it has to do with the accident.
It was that Nick Fury.
It says Nick Fury. No, it's not.
Nick Fury with his Star Trek badge
With
on.
wings?
Nick Fury and Brains.
It is not a normal butterfly.
Brains from
And that
Thunderbirds.
explosion
Yeah.
was no accident. It was caused by those
Simon
renegade
Firth.
And Haji
butterflies.
grown up.
And it'll happen
Look at
again unless we
That
do something.
thing he's holding there looks like one of those things they go over that electric wire, the way they have to not touch it, doesn't it?
They actually make incredibly large
Something
bubbles
got
with
a
it.
few bats, too. I do not. You'll see.
Emergency! Emergency! Go on. The atomic reactor in Blue Mountain, it's just blown up! Unusual observed. Nothing, sir.
That's not an emergency. That's a catastrophe.
That flew over the grounds just before
There's
the
Nick.
explosion.
I know that gif.
Here's the opening.
Oh boy.
Headquarters.
Headquarters. Ted Knight.
CMDF, Combined Miniature Defense Force.
This is groovy, baby.
It's groovy.
This is the sort of thing they should be making now. This is brilliant.
This is groovy. I love this. This is great.
Authority, top secret, highest clearance. Team.
Vince Coletta inked that.
Guru, master of mysterious powers.
Oh boy.
Erica Lane, doctor, biologist. Busby Birdwell, scientist, inventor.
Busby Birdwell.
Birdwell. Wow.
Fiction.
The Fantastic Four.
Form to combat the unseen, unsuspected enemies of freedom.
Let's just leave this on, Randy. Let's just watch this all afternoon.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in.
This is
It
brilliant.
says the Sunday Funnies after all. Yeah.
Fantastic voyage.
No theme music, surprisingly, but commercials.
Commercials are good.
Oh yeah.
Major Matt Mason,
Major Matt
Mattel's
Mason.
man in space and the bravest
Whoa.
astronaut yet. He lives
Oh,
on the moon.
I had
We'll
one of
all get
those.
there soon.
He
And
lives
gets
in your
around, but
sandbox.
yet. Until Sergeant Storm in his red uniform, Major Matt worked all alone.
His red
Now,
uniform, you better be
together,
careful.
they face the
Major
dangers of
Matt.
space and seek to learn
I didn't know-
the unknown.
I didn't know
The
what the
machines
name
that
of
they
it was
drive
because I
seem
got it from a
almost
second-hand
alive
shop.
as they transport the adventurous
Major Matt
air.
Mason.
The new
Yeah.
Astrotrack whips
They actually
through
did
the
a
black,
big little
and
book with
Firebolt
Major Matt
even
Mason.
goes where they meet Captain Laser, his space
Captain Laser.
Captain Laser. Not Admiral Laser.
True,
Captain
but a
Laser.
friendly one who spent his boyhood on Mars, an exciting place, the world of space, as all the astronauts know. This world is
Yeah,
swell.
Ted, we
Availably
knew giants were
separately
living on
in
the moon.
sets.
With
I
it.
swear to God, what kind of kids would have sets like that?
That's cool.
Posh Norwegian kids.
Ah,
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Atomic Invaders.
Okay, we should probably
Down
cut,
Moors.
we should probably cut that there.
Boot,
But
yeah.
Leave it on. That's brilliant.
I love that
Yeah.
available separately in sets. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
right. Some assembly required.
Hey kids, all of those toys are available separately, but in sets.
Let your parents know.
Mhm.
That's what we got there. Everybody begged for Christmas. Yeah.
Good
See,
stuff.
Michael's in the
Got
house.
it.
See, Michael, you can come in if you want. It's just Mike has no hair. Mike has hair, so he's covered.
There you go. Yeah.
Mike's got
See?
hair for
Could
all
be.
of us,
There we are.
but not for
Could
long,
be.
Mike.
I know. That's why I'm enjoying it.
There you
we
are.
Yeah, mine's as
Enjoy
long
it
as
while you
Mike's.
can.
Mine's as
Yeah.
long as yours, man. But I got all tied up. so.
Mine used to
enjoyed it
be
while
as
I had
long
it.
as yours, only it was out the back.
Okay.
I met my wife when I had a ponytail all the way down to the middle of my back.
Yeah.
Not much hair on top, but a ponytail all the way down to the middle of my
Oh,
back.
that's very Phil Collins.
Yeah, very,
Mm.
very. Yeah.
I had all my hair once, but all the girls were well done.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah?
that's what it is.
Wow. Somebody lied to you, bro. All right. Wow. Man.
Yeah, you can.
You
see
know I
if
love you,
someone is
Glenn.
happily
You know I love
married
you.
by the little circle on the top of their head, because that's where the thumb of the wife goes.
Woo! check
Wow.
you
I'm going to
out.
make a note of that one. All right,
Totally
Cass.
believable. Totally believable. Not me. I started losing my hair in the 6th grade, so I've got a senior picture with a wavy comb over
Oh,
Oh.
Nice.
to try to hide the bald spot. Yeah, yeah.
But
Growing up,
hey,
growing
I'm
up was such an
impressed.
adventure. I'm telling
Man.
you.
I had 2 older brothers and a dad to see where I was going to go.
Yeah.
I had every male person in my life in the family all had a crown of hair.
Yeah,
And
isn't
I
it
said, "I'm
supposed to
doing it.
skip a generation? Aren't you supposed
No,
to
it
look at your
doesn't.
grandparents?
Yeah.
It skipped my older brother. Damn it, he's still got a full head of hair, but
Yeah, you just
I've got
have
a-
more testosterone than him, Randy. That's all.
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Here's the opening.
That's it. That tune's in my head all week now.
Is it good?
Randy,
It
you
just
should
replenishes
have-
every Sunday.
You should have a guest laugh every week.
That would be
Oh my
cool.
god.
You know, somebody has to do the
Or
laughter at the end.
get some fiendish laughter, like
Yeah.
Edie and Cecil's Dishonest John. You know, yeah, that's for Halloween. Yeah, we'll do a Halloween special late in October. So
Laughs from around the world.
we'll show a clip from the Groovy Ghoulies. That'll be great for everybody.
Groovy Ghoulies.
Yeah.
The Groovy Ghoulies.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
You got that, Russ?
Groovy,
Ghoulies.
groovy ghoulies, baby. Smash it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
That's about that time period too. Yeah.
Man.
They were a group of they were imitations of the Universal monsters, but they played in a rock and roll band.
Oh, God, yes, they had that. Was that Hanna-Barbera?
I believe it. I'm not sure if it was
probably.
Hanna-Barbera or not, but probably yeah.
I remember seeing that on the TV.
Schindler, the same guys who used to animate Archie, I think did it.
Right.
That they had a xylophone made out of somebody's spine.
Did it look like that at all, or no? Didn't look like anything like that.
No. That's Dan DiCarlo, buddy.
It's funny because we didn't get much. Archie over here was not a thing.
No.
Yeah.
But we got that cartoon. We got that cartoon, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, the Groovy Ghoulies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was called Groovy Ghoulies, but
It
I
was
definitely remember that.
Vampire, Frankenstein, and or Frankenstein's monster, I should say, and a werewolf guy.
Yeah.
All playing in a band. Yeah, rock band.
Pretty sure
What
it
was that
wasn't
one?
drug
Or
related
really a
during-
pop band, you know, kind of like
Is
a
it-
Monkeys situation. Yeah.
Was it HR Puff and stuff? Is that the one that we? That's the one we had here. Well, it wasn't.
yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
We
animated.
just ran Lidsville last week. I'd
We had
have done
that.
another Sid and Marty Croft. We ran the opening for Lidsville last week.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah.
Who's your friend when things
Definitely a
get
trip.
rough, eh?
Mm.
HR Puff and stuff.
Was that Jack Wilde?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a sad guy, wasn't he?
Oh, so
Anyway,
many tales,
those days.
so many adventures. Come on in, folks. This is Sunday Funnies. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can always reach me at thezimcast@gmail.com. I've been working in comics for decades, having fun doing commercial sequential artwork and regular freelance through the independent and alternative market for many years. Currently working on a book of my last year's worth of experience under the wonderful protocols of COVID and having survived the respirator and the hospital afterwards and going through physical therapy. It's going to be a funny book. It'll be great.
Nice uplifting survival guide.
Survive, yeah, pretty much.
Survival guide for the
Make
creative.
Schindler's
Yeah.
List look like a comedy.
More
Yeah.
ways than one. Yeah.
Right.
Joining me directly next to me is Mr. Mike Jimmy. Mike Jimmy, introduce yourself.
What up, lovelies? I'm Mike Jimmy, the brand of Fairies and Ends, publisher, creator, and doing all kinds of things in art. Currently stuck doing animation, and host of Hang on Animation on Thursdays and Sketchy Saturdays on Saturday here on the Indie Comics Network.
Sweet. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff for the Indie Comics Network too. We'll talk about it right before we leave. So also joining us today is Mr. Glenn B. Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher. I've written over 10 books. They're all available on Amazon, various subjects. But regard to this show, this is my latest, Jack Kirby, A Personal Journey, Words and Pictures. With that, you get a DVD. The book and DVD cover my two meetings with Jack Kirby when I flew to his house back in the 80s and 90s. I draw this comic book, Hatch, which is coming to Indiegogo anytime soon, the second edition. And I also publish this magazine with this young man down here. It's a quarterly magazine about comics, 100 pages. They're all on Amazon. Issue 11 is imminent. So, Randy, get right in that article. And anybody...
man.
I'm working on it.
It's not like you're running shows. Come on.
I've got inquiries out for quotes. So for the next era of Arrow. So
Good. That's it. You can get all my stuff on Amazon. Go and take a look.
also joining us today is Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Russ Leach. I draw comics, mostly. That's about it, really. You can find me in the pages of Doctor Who magazine at the moment. I'm just on the last issue now that I'll be doing for a while. They have another creative team incoming. You can also find me in the pages of Batman, Hero Time Presents Batman magazine for the younger audience. kids of all ages in UK and Europe, and I believe will be coming to Brazil soon. You can also find me as the artist of Only Death Can Save Us, as my own book, as well as some stuff for Mark Hosier and what have you. Been around for a while, but I'm probably overextending my stay. So go find me on russleach.com, and you can find out about all those things there.
Awesome.
Should get it while it's hot.
Yeah, get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot. Mitch Rogers
While
in the
it's
house.
fresh.
Happy Sunday morning. You want in, Mitch? I'll send you a link. We're just going to talk about what we love. So I'm sure you've got some stuff to talk about. Sugar Chris, same thing to you, buddy. Anytime you want in. We've never had you on the show before. Would love to have you on. So Sugar, you're up this early. You might as well be on the air. Send me a request over a DM me over on Facebook, and I'll happily send you a link. Just let me know.
I can DM him on Twitter as well, or on Facebook actually.
Mitch says sure. Link's on its way. Mitch, give me a second as we also introduce first time on Sunday Funnies, right?
Yeah,
pretty sure.
So. Yeah,
able to get up early enough to take the Scott Rosema position.
No, those are some big shoes to fill, bro.
I was going to say
That's some big shoes to fill.
Big shoes, big shirt.
He's a tall guy, so
He's
yeah,
tall.
all right.
He's a good big guy.
He's also known. Scott Rosema is also known as the Scarlet Pimpernel because nobody can find him. Sorry, go ahead.
That'll be his tagline from now on.
I'm not on
Scarlet
that
Pimpernel.
bandwagon.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mr. Ted Davies. Ted, introduce yourself.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ted Davies. I'm best known for Retrieve, my sci-fi book, Retrieve, and Grim 101, and for publishing this one, Comics Unlimited, with this gentleman right there. There you go. And you want to check out Hatch. It's going to be coming out Indiegogo for this man here. Yeah, we got this is book number 10. It's on Amazon. Check out Glenn B. Fleming's page for that. But yeah, so we got a lot going on, man. Do a lot of YouTube stuff and a lot of podcasts, and yeah. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Got to stay busy. Got to be like a shark,
Always moving.
It's the only way to stay young.
Yep.
So is that what it is? Okay.
You should see the painting in my attic.
Say what?
What's that?
You should see the painting in my attic.
Giggity.
Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary, man. Yeah, that means something totally different in the States. Don't say things like that on air, man. That's kind of scary.
It's not a painting. It's not a painting. Yeah.
It's like, hey, I got free Wi-Fi in the van. You know what I mean? You don't do that, right?
They had candy and ice cream in the van. Yeah.
You want to come see my painting in the attic?
Used to be etchings. Want to come to my place and look at my etchings?
Yeah.
Copy is so 1920s.
Those days are gone. Anyway.
I'm teasing you, Glenn. I love you, man.
We're just one. Yeah. He's a lot here. Mitch, that link's over on your Facebook. So
I remember going to some girl's bed sit to look at their etchings.
Go on.
And I was at art college at the time, and she'd been chatting to me for ages, and then she asked me to come over to her place to look at her drawings. And being so naive, I went in there, I had a drink, sat down, looked at her drawings, said, "They look really nice. I'm off." I didn't realize. I just didn't know.
They did a movie about that called Age of Innocence.
I was going to say, The Innocent.
They were quite good drawings. So.
I was working at a pinball arcade. Had a girl come up to me and grab me pretty much by the collar and said, "You're coming home with me." That's like, wow. Okay.
All right.
Wow.
She didn't have any etchings at all.
No. It was all smooth.
Yeah, a couple tattoos. No etchings. Yeah.
No tattoos.
No.
Just no. But anyway.
Good Sunday conversation. Hey.
Great Sunday. Well, welcome everybody. We're TVMA DLSV in case you need to know. Sugar Chris says instead of Netflix and chill, it's attic and paint. Them were the days.
Oh,
I sent you a link on Facebook, Chris, if you want to hang out.
That's great.
Chris, come on in. Absolutely. Yeah. I keep meaning to get back to painting. I just can't cut the time for it. I got all the supplies. I got canvases prepped and ready to go. I just need to.
Do you have the attic?
The egg? Oh no! I do have a second story in the house, but really the wife's got possession of that. It's her. It's kind of her library reading room.
Good
right now, and spare bedroom. So We just had guests over that just left early this morning, and that's where they stayed up way upstairs. So I still have grandchildren in the house, which is if you hear an occasional thundering from above, that's probably them.
Pattering of tiny feet. That's good though. That's a good thing.
Pattering might be a too light of a expression.
Yeah.
It's okay, and it is an old
Stomping.
house. I'm not saying that they're rambunctious.
Heavy
But
thumping of children.
you hear the creaking and the heavy thumping of children. They introduced me to
We got to do something to keep them quiet.
some YouTube channel. They have the weirdest YouTube, and I'm starting to sound like an old man. There's those kids and their newfangled technology. They got some weird YouTube channel, Lanky something that is all video games. That they sit there and watch a couple of young bouncy kids dressed in anime pajamas, pretty much playing video games, talking about their deaths on screen. So
Wow.
it's all great. Oh, you got me!
Oh,
Ha ha ha!
that's
Let's go. That kind of
Sounds great, doesn't it?
a lot better than Adley. There are people out there that actually have their children filmed as they play with toys, and they have the big toy makers send them toys, and they make millions of dollars off of other kids watching those kids play with those toys that they got sent to them. Just a crazy racket.
Sounds
There's
like
a
good idea.
YouTuber. There's a kid that's been on since he was 3, and he's a multimillionaire now.
Yeah.
He has built an empire.
There's a couple of
just
kids
unboxing toys.
Actually,
Crazy.
their parents have built their
right.
empire, and
Truth.
They're and on one hand, great on them, and they're now using all of that fame now to build their own careers. Like their dad's really heavy into video games, and he's got a group of people that go out and play professionally video games. It's like, must be nice to have that kind of free time and a willing wife, I must add, to go out there and play those video games. I'm lucky to have mine just support my art efforts, but she's got a strict no video games ban on the house. So they just don't happen, because she knows I just spend all day playing them. So it's bad enough I got a couple of games on my phone.
I used to play them, and then I got old. The reaction time's gone now. I used to Twitch on Halo. Do you know? No, not
sure.
anymore.
Wow.
We went to an actual arcade, and here in the States, arcades are incredibly rare. And where we actually had to pay to get a credit card for time.
Right.
And
That's
now
kind of
we
weird. Yeah.
play by the time, but they have a couple of older games. They have a couple of pinball games there, a couple of them that are just in terrible shape. I mean, horrible shape. And they have them set up at a higher tilt than what they should be, so it's rougher to play.
Right.
But the thing was, they also had a couple of the old Marvel Capcom.
Oh yeah.
Marvel characters versus Marvel characters games and Tekken games that were there. And I killed on Tekken. Just mowed right through these characters. And I'm like, I still got it.
Back in 1980 when I was working
bump, AB, bump, that kind of thing.
Back in 1980 when I was working in an art studio, this guy came who worked with me. He said this new game was in the pub. So we went to the pub at lunchtime, and it was is it Space Invaders where it comes down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he said I'm going to the pub there. He said it's the best thing you've ever seen. It's absolutely brilliant. It's going to change the world. And all this kind of. And I got there, and I said, what do you do? And I think we put 5p in or something. Put that in, and all these little things started coming down. And you do the first few, and it's dead easy. Then all of a sudden they start coming down at this side, don't they?
Yeah.
And then I was on it. I bet I was on it for about. I'm going to be generous now. 35 seconds. And that was enough.
Yeah.
And I never played it again. I've never
What
played these
do you guys
games.
remember the first video game you ever saw? I remember Pong, and it was in
Pong.
Wales.
Yeah.
Glenn, it wasn't too far from you, and it was at a pub on the River Dee, and it was a tabletop. It wasn't even a stand-up.
wow.
I mean, it was like, I'm surprised they had to pour gasoline in the side of it and pull start it, because it was old. It was ancient, now, and the
Came off
technology
the
now. But, yeah, right.
We're
You
now
guys
joined
remember
by
the first games.
We're now joined by Mr. Mitch Rogers.
up,
Mitch,
Mitch?
can you
Hey,
quickly
Mitch.
introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Mitch Rogers. I'm a 14-year veteran of the indie comics industry. I'm the creator, writer, and artist of the Boger comic book series.
And I was going to say, Space Invaders didn't change the world. Pong did, really.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you were 14 years old, Mitch.
That's good.
I wish.
Thank
I
you.
wish.
I wouldn't want to be 14 again.
No.
Pretty sure Mike
no,
Jimmy's
no,
still the
no.
youngest here among us all. So
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
Being
sure.
14
That's not hard.
when I was 14, Neil and Buzz were walking on the moon, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, that's okay. I'll give you that.
And Kirby was at his peak. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
all right.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
It'd be
man,
okay.
Glenn.
That's about right.
Okay, all right, okay. I'll
Glory
give you that.
days.
glory
When I was
days.
14, no, it was after 9/11, so you
Come on, you must
couldn't
remember,
go
it's only
anywhere
last week.
anymore.
You were what?
2
What
weeks
did you
ago,
just
Yeah,
say?
you're still pretty young, Mike. You're still pretty young. I'm
Get off
51.
the air,
I'm
Mike.
51.
It
Yeah,
wasn't a
so
single
you're
week. It
pretty
was
young,
2
dude.
weeks, okay? I
Yeah.
had my birthday 4
Get
weeks
out.
I
ago.
was on my
Right,
6th
get
or
off my
7th
lawn.
job during 9/11, coming to the realization that I really don't work well with bosses.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
But anyway,
I was
Sorry
in
to kill
10th
that
grade when
conversation.
9/11 happened.
yeah.
What's that, Mitch? I didn't hear you.
I was in 10th grade when that happened.
Ah.
World history class, the most ironic thing
Oh
ever.
wow. What a place to
Mhm.
be. Wow.
That's an easy class, though. They just wheeled in one of those TVs on the
Mm.
cart and turned it
Yeah.
on, said, "Watch this," says history. And
Mhm.
Yeah,
teacher
that's what
walked
they
out
did.
the room for a smoke. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Actually,
Went into science, they wheeled the cart in, watch this, it's history.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
that whole day was nothing but everybody
We
watching
all
the
know
television.
every science teacher smokes like
I had a biology teacher that talked like
Oh, yeah?
this.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Used to be a lot of fun to imitate him. Yeah.
Columbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was.
What
he
a
was
great- what a
probably
great
gruffer,
character.
Gruffer than
What a-
this. You knew he was a smoker. Yeah.
Columbo was a great character, man. I really
Oh,
liked I'm going back and watching those on YouTube now. God.
It's very rare that you see characters written on television. You see them a lot more on British
Yeah.
television than what you
Yeah.
see them here in America. Because
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
actors
just the
too, for
quality of
that
the
matter.
writing. Yeah.
The actor
well,
has
and
to
the
be
acting
there
absolutely.
too, but yeah, the writing absolutely.
We've just been watching Stella Street. Have you seen that?
Mhm.
No.
It's you've seen it, haven't you, Russ? It's
My
great.
name
isn't it?
is Michael Caine.
Yeah, yeah. It's all these people doing impressions of famous people like Michael
Mhm.
Caine and David
cool.
Bowie and
Yeah.
Mick and Keith from the Stones. Mick and Keith, right, with an F.
Keith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mick and Keith's corner shop, and they run the corner shop, and he's always Mick Jagger's always saying like, "We're running out of beans," you know, and he's talking like this, and he's
we're running out.
and all these famous people live on this Stella Street. It's really good. It's on YouTube.
Cool.
It's really good.
I have to look it up. Stella
Not
Street.
as good. Did you ever see Star Stories?
No,
Mm-mm.
Oh, they used to. So they didn't try to do impersonations or anything. They just had the appropriate color hair and maybe the right.
That was
clothes.
it.
And every time they referred to each other as these, like obviously celebrities, they'd refer to them with their full name every time.
Oh my God.
And they had this scene. They had this scene where Tom Cruise was over at John Travolta's place, and they were talking about Scientology. And he's like, "No, I really don't get it, John Travolta. I really no, this isn't for me. I'm off." And John Travolta follows him out to the garden and smacks him over the head with a spade. And then he comes up and goes, "Oh yeah, really great idea." That is how John Travolta got Tom Cruise into Scientology. Brilliant.
Great.
Uh,
Great. Sugar Chris says when Mike Jimmy was 11, he only looked in his mid-30s.
wow.
Pedro Ang is in the house. Pedro, thanks for joining us. That's a new name into the chat. You're welcome. Hope you have a entertaining time while you're here watching us talk about what we love. So,
G'day,
maybe
Pedro.
not comics all the time. The conversation does tend to wander a bit. We were just talking about the
Good match.
morbid 9/11 time. So, but most of the time we talk about what we love here, and that's mostly comics. So,
Yeah.
And
now
comics
Russ,
related media.
comics related media. Russ is working on comics right now. So, as we speak, using that's not quite a French curve, is it? No, just
one. Bezier.
just a curve guide. Is it?
Bezier. Yeah.
You sure it's French? All right.
Well, I
Okay.
spoke to it.
Does it
Probably
kiss
made
like
in
it's French?
China.
It speaks to you in French.
It speaks to me in French and talks about
Wait.
onions a lot. Ouais, I like onions.
Had an Ames lettering guide that used to speak to me, but it wasn't always nice language.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the curves.
There we are. Yes.
Yeah, I had an Ames lettering guide that would fly off my table on occasion. Just
Oh, yeah.
wow,
That wasn't hard
was
to do.
wow.
Fwing.
No,
Yeah,
a couple
and possessed
triangles,
one, poltergeist.
right?
Pedro
Yeah,
says
some
it's French enough.
we used to have cork on the walls in the studio, and there's a reason for that. So you just stuff would stick,
Yeah.
like a dartboard. So
There was a point on that guide that was
Yeah.
really that come in
ding,
handy.
ding.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a point to that story.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was bad. Okay, anyway.
Yep. Any new purchases from anybody? Any books that you want to point out that you love?
I got
Why not?
the other day. I got reprint of the event. You can't see that. The Avengers.
You need to
Defenders
lower it.
War.
Lower it down to your camera.
Okay. The Avengers Defenders War. There you
Oh,
go.
nice.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Good.
Salbu Summer.
Also,
Yeah.
a fantastic stuff.
It's
I mean,
called Avengers Defenders War, but it's got the collector on the cover.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's all black. It's all flat color.
Well, that's the way
And
they
it's-
were back then.
Yeah,
It
it's
would have been better in
fantastic.
black and white, wouldn't it, Ross?
Well, I have actually got it in black and white as well.
Oh, there you go. You see.
A lot of John Buscema in that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at there.
Salbu Summer.
Sal Buscema.
Sal and John isn't
But you
isn't
can-
some of that
no,
John as
I
well?
think it's
No?
just. I don't know that one.
I could be
that
wrong.
does look very John there. I have to say.
Oh, the
It's-
Yeah.
page you flipped over
Big time.
from
Yes.
before
Big time.
looked a lot like John. Yeah.
yeah,
Check the front. They'll have a directory.
yeah. It
I mean, the
doesn't say
contents
John,
page.
Yeah, it doesn't say John Buscema in there.
To say mostly Sal.
Inkers,
Joe Sinnott's there again.
pencilers, Sal.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a bit of John. Yes, there is. Well spotted.
I thought I
Yeah.
saw some as
Yeah,
it as
says-
it went by. Yeah.
Bob Brown, Sal Buscema, John
Bob Brown.
Buscema,
Yep.
Jim Starlin, and Rich Buckler.
Yeah.
Mostly Sal. I have to say.
And that's got the when the story flip flop between the Avengers and the Defenders.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
whole-
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff.
It's got a great cover, Defenders 12, I believe it is. It's got Thor versus Hulk, and they're both pushing on each other.
Nice.
The entire story is the two of them pushing against each other, while everybody else stood around and waited for somebody to win.
That classic pose where one's got their fist out and the other one's got hold of their arm. That
Yeah,
just
Joe
oh,
got the hammer, and they're like just struggling. You see the street underneath them is all crumbled out and pushed out. That's great. Joe, how you doing?
Shoot, just waking up.
Yo.
To be quite honest with you.
Oh well, I'm glad you found the link.
It's still pretty early in Chi-Town, man. It's still
You're
pretty
here
early.
long before Scott Rosema, so it's all good.
Also, I beat that bet. So I'm glad that people bet on me to be here.
Introduce yourself, quick, Joe. Will you?
I'm Joe D. McPhee. I'm the president of the CGC Studios. I created Amazonian Primetime Saturday Night and AWF, and I do have my little bit of a show on Saturdays called From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher.
You've been doing that for years now, haven't you? Quite a few
At
years.
least 3.
There you go. Yeah. You've interviewed a lot of people. You need to go over there and look at that. It's all archived over on his YouTube channel.
He's been doing that show nearly as long as Mike Jimmy's been alive.
There we go.
That's not hard.
Or at least his beard. So
Yeah.
took him that long to grow it.
Wow. Wow.
Not like
3
Scott
weeks
Rosemary, he
on
can
a
grow a
Sunday.
beard in an afternoon.
3 weeks.
Sugar says, "Oh, I've always wanted to get the issues of Avengers Defenders War." Yeah. That was so cool because that was my first discovery of the direct market. We had a bookstore up in the northern part of Flint. That's really rough area now, but back then there was a bookstore up there that actually got books from Big Rapids Distributors, which was one of the first direct distributors in the country. So I would get the issue of Avengers Defenders War at the local drugstore, and the next week I'd have the next issue, and I'd be able to take it to school and go, look what I got. You know, here it is. You know, Iron Man or Swordsman and Mantis versus Valkyrie. Here you are.
That was one of the first true crossover events, wasn't it? There was one before it. I'm trying to remember what it was.
That was the first really big event that they knocked it between both Avengers and Defenders for about 3 issues apiece. It was really it was a good story, just typical MacGuffin chasing.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just brilliant stuff. Though, just great, straight up fun.
and before
there
that,
was another one at the time.
they had annual Justice League, Justice Society crossovers at that point that they were doing. That was really the first real big crossovers. Was when Earth 1 discovered that there was an Earth 2. Why they called themselves Earth 2, we'll never know. But
well, now it's yeah. Why would you do that?
Exactly.
I'm second. I'm always going to be second.
Are you Earth 1? Well, we must be Earth 2 then. Yeah.
Apparently,
even though they'd been around longer, they were
Earth 0 now.
That goes back to the idea of Earth Prime. If you're going to go that route, because it's like, why would you call yourself Earth Prime?
Well, Earth Prime was our
Earth Prime.
Yeah, that was us. Earth Prime was supposed to be us.
They should have called themselves
real world. Yeah,
they should have called themselves Earth as well.
Wasn't the Silver Age supposedly on Earth 1 or something, and we were Earth Prime? So all the Silver Age stories were effectively from somewhere else.
Yeah,
they weren't. And then they changed it over with the Flash, didn't they? The old Flash and Barry Allen. And then they brought it into
Barry Allen met Jay Garrick. They both were running fast enough; they almost ran into each other.
Yeah, and then that's when you
vibrating at different speeds. They were able to jump dimensions and
bizarre, weird.
They stopped and looked at each other and went, "Well, that would have ended the worlds, wouldn't it?"
So I don't quite understand the whole number count of. There is a graphic somewhere that shows you it all.
Yeah.
Well, it's a graphic that they've changed at least 4 times.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's name is
Earth 1 and Earth 2 aren't what they were anymore, because I've got the series of Batman, Earth 1 Batman, which is obviously more recent, and they're really good. But it's not the same Earth 1.
Yeah. Every time I come on one of these podcasts and the people on it have this conversation, it just reminds me why I stopped reading these bloody things, because it just.
In all fairness, the whole Earth 1 and Earth 2 thing happened a long time ago at the end of the Silver Age, in between the Silver and the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I stopped.
Is that when you stopped?
Oh,
I didn't realize you were that old.
Well,
you still got New Gods. Come on. That was late 70s, New Gods.
No, that was early 70s.
Early 70s?
71. And I stopped reading in 73. And then picked them up again in 83.
Well, the cool thing about those old Justice League, Justice Society crossovers is depending upon the writer, the science and the laws and everything shifted to whatever the writer wanted. Mm-hmm. So there was an Earth 1, Earth 2, and then Earth 3 had all the villains on it. There's a set of bad guys. All the superheroes were supervillains. And they were basically ruling the world on Earth 3. And then they stopped using the numbers because they realized, why would somebody call themselves Earth 2 or Earth 3? And they started using letters. And you had Earth X, Earth S, where all of the Fawcett characters were on for Earth Shazam. And they had Earth X, which is, of course, that's
where all the sexy stuff went on.
Sure. No, that was Triple X. That was a different Earth. That's the one Vin Diesel was on.
I don't want to talk about that.
Wow. Earth X is where the Nazis had actually won the war.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the Justice League, Justice Society stumbled onto that war or onto that world when they had come up with and this is going to sound bad, but they come up with a little cube device that looked like Alley Oop's time machine. Mm-hmm. It was a box that would change the vibratory patterns of the people, and they would be able to switch Earths. So once a year, they were going to trade 3 characters for 3 characters. But Red Tornado, who was originally started on Earth 2, the robot Red Tornado, got knocked over to Earth 1 and couldn't get back. And he wanted to get back to Earth 2 so bad, he hid in the back of the box. And whirled so fast, nobody saw him. Somebody felt a breeze. He whirled in the back of the box. They activated the device, and all 7 of the characters ended up on Earth X, where all the freedom fighters were. All of the old quality characters. With Uncle Sam, Human Bomb, Doll Man, Ray, Black Condor, Phantom Lady. We're all there running a guerrilla war against the Germans who had taken over the world.
When you say guerrilla war, do you mean a guerrilla, not a gorilla?
No. I mean like a
grassroots.
Grassroots. Back then, if you were having a failing comic, you used to put a robot or a gorilla in it.
An actual gorilla, and usually a large gorilla, But they had kind of gone underground because the first early on in their war, they lost Plastic Man and Blackhawks right off the bat, and they're like, "Well, the big guys are gone, so we better be careful."
Oh, the big guys. Plastic Man's gone.
I never got into. I could never
Plastic
watch
Man is
that
gone.
guy. It's
Will
like,
O'Brien
come
is one of the best characters ever. You need to
No,
start
man.
looking him up.
If
If you
Now-
like
he's done
Philly,
it in the
he's
right
the guy.
hands, he's good.
The sad thing about Plastic Man is his true age was the golden age. You go back and you read those old Jack Cole books, and they are just pure treasures.
Okay.
I mean, they're amazing pieces because Cole was literally on a different plane, and he was
he was on Earth 3 or B.
yeah, he was on Earth
Whatever.
whatever Earth Plastic, probably Earth Q, who knows, Earth Quality, Earth Plastic. But he used that character and knew what comics were all about and sequential art. And who was it? Art Spiegelman ended up writing a book about how genius Jack Cole was in his page layouts and stuff, because he would use Plastic Man as a key point in composition. Because he was always stretching all over the place. He'd have his arm stretching into the next panel. He'd be stretching diagonal when you needed to go to the next tier down. All sorts of stuff. That was just genius stuff. And the writing on that, because Cole was doing everything. He was just turning stories in, and they were printing them. But the writing on that was also very ingenious. And just there's a whole that period is so classic that they keep the character around now, and they every time they try to reincarnate the character, they just can't duplicate what Cole had done, because he was so good, and those stories are just amazing. So if you ever get a chance to see an archive set up of the stories, Les, I got to know Plastic Man from Les Daniels' History of Comics in America, because he ended up printing one of the stories involving a granite lady, who was a lady that was so cold that she spurned a mad scientist who injected her with a serum that turned her into rocks. That he thought he was going to make a statue that he could take home and worship forever, but instead she became alive and started pounding on all of the guys that she hated. And Plastic Man had to come in and save everybody.
Yeah, that sounds too close to real life, dude.
There you go.
That sounds about right for a Plastic Man story. Because you have
But
to
that's the kind of stuff Cole would do, though, over and over again. That's why he was so popular back in the 40s.
If the guys doing these stories weren't on drugs, they should have been.
Oh, there was mushrooms involved in all of that.
No, that's the high level of imagination.
That's not weed or alcohol. That's
you gotta
psychedelic. I mean,
they were filling in the gaps of the Depressionary era, and only being able to go to the theater once a week, because that's all the money that you had. You were lucky to hear radio programs with crazy stuff. That was literally theater of the mind. Just some incredibly well done stuff on those old radio programs. And that imagination, Kirby's under the same thing. You know, Kirby was in this business for so long. I swear he created New Gods, not just to get away from Marvel, but also because he was bored of superheroes. He set up a chessboard with black and white pieces, good and evil pieces, and ran them against one another. It was a gigantic chess game. And he created that one character was a Black Racer to take the pieces off the board, which was a guy in a suit of armor on a set of skis flying through the air, collecting souls.
Glenn and I talked about Kirby being completely, I mean, he was, it sounds corny, but we think that he was like plugged into a whole nother consciousness, because he was just
and again, all of that,
advanced.
Yep. All of that came from his Brooklyn upbringing and his boredom, and everybody back then was just seeking an entertainment escape in any way possible. And there were just some prime places to escape from: pulp magazines, radio dramas.
There was something else going on with Kirby. He knew the place was there on Mars.
He was 3 steps up. Yeah,
there was something there. Yeah,
but so was Jack Cole, though. Jack Cole was at
cosmic.
I'm going to look back on that, Randy, because that's I'm going to give it a second chance. But...
I think Otto Binder and C.C. Beck were there with Captain Marvel. That's why it sold the way that it did. You know, which is completely opposite from Moulton, who came in and said, "Hey, I can use comics to teach all the kids how to be what degenerates." That would be the word. Come on, let's go. Here's a fetish you kids haven't seen or probably heard about before. Let's go.
You know, when you look at a lot of these artists and
also
stuff,
incredible stuff.
When they talk about like with Jack and that, watching Glenn with the video with Jack, it's almost like they channel something. It's almost like it's all, when they get to the board, and you guys know this, if you guys are all artists, that you look at it and time goes away. It's almost like you're in a void,
Yeah.
It's like he's almost channeling something. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that, but it's so, and you're saying that certain artists, you see it in certain artists, but yeah, for Jack though, it was a whole nother, I mean, I see it with Mike Mignola. You're talking about mushrooms. I just got this book, Frankenstein, the New World, and there's a mushroom in the cover. So I mean, anyway, but Mike too is the same. It's kind of like the stories. It's so crazy. But the thing about with Mike Mignola, let's say, he doesn't have, and he has mythology and everything else. So did Jack in a lot of respects with the history. But what do you think? I mean, do you think that there's a lot of artists that you think that are completely unaware that they're even?
We only use so much. That scientists have already proven we only use so much of our brain, and there's certain people out there that can channel different sections of that brain. And once you tap into that imagination, you just go. Just like once you tap into that skill sets, like a muscle. The more you do, the better you get. It's the same with writing. It's the same with drawing. That's why you get people like George Perez and John Byrne out there who can start kicking pages out like crazy with an ungodly amount of detail. You just sit there in awe of. Kirby, Cole, same way. Wally Wood, same way. All the guys who worked for EC were all channeling that that level. They were just it is a whole different level, and Kirby came up in it, Cole came up in it, but it drove him crazy. And Jack ended up going in a completely different direction, and he ended up committing suicide in the late 50s. So I mean, Wally Wood did in the late 70s, I think it was, but
1981.
81.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
but his health was deteriorating, wasn't it?
The story is that he knew he was going blind, and he woke up and couldn't see, and he struggled around the apartment until he found his revolver and took his life.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's tough.
I do think
I'll aim for the sub-genius level though, because I'd quite like to live a long time.
Yeah.
There's a thin line between it, right? Brilliance and insanity.
Very thin.
So,
yes.
I'll aim for that level of I'm quite happy with what I'm doing. And
I'm not sure which side I'm on, but
and nowadays
the latter. But
nowadays they catch these kids young, they give them an alphabet diagnosis or put them on a spectrum level and fill them with drugs. But how many of these geniuses grew up the same way before all the pharmaceuticals happened and made huge advancements, in art, in science, and Einstein, wasn't wired, right? He wasn't wired. Edison, Tesla definitely, and he admitted that he wasn't wired, right? Because he would receive inventions in his dreams and backwards and engineer them.
Yeah. Well, you see, I used to dream in code, and when I was programming, and I'd go to bed with a problem in the code, and I'd wake up and I'd been dreaming the code, and quite often you'd
have the solution.
You could dream, dream the solution.
Still working on it.
If it wasn't there when you woke up, it hit you when you were taking your shower in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah, it would just come back to you. Yeah, and that would happen quite a lot. I mean, obviously that's not genius level stuff, but it shows that your mind is still sort of running off.
I can't tell you how many times that's worked for me in storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
I think
you write yourself into a corner, you go to bed with the problem, you wake up with the solution.
I would suggest in my own little way, some of this is maybe in my own books, that the mind is most likely to, in my view, most likely an antenna or an aerial rather than an organ of conception. And that it's picking stuff up.
You're receiving. Yep.
You're receiving from where you really are.
I completely agree with that.
And I think Jack had an amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Isn't that what Tesla said though? That he was just we're all just
he's just the channel.
It's all about vibration.
He was just the channel, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't even know how it happened. And that's I hear that constantly with a lot of creatives. I don't even know how I do this. I don't even know how I paint. It just shows up this way.
Very much a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say that when you dream, you can actually jump dimensions. So
that is a theory. Yeah.
Jack was on Earth 510.
It's also I mean, when you think about it, everything that you perceive, everything comes in through your senses, and it's all compiled inside your brain, your receiver, whatever it is. Well, when you're asleep and you're dreaming, where are all your senses? They're all shut off.
Yeah.
Or they're all at least very limited.
Your
So
physical senses.
Why
So
are
you're
you?
at that
Yeah.
subconscious.
So
Yeah.
what? How are you making a three-dimensional world where you're interacting with people and doing all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of stuff? It's because that's another version of the data input.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just it's like if it's like leaving your computer on sleep and letting it do some background tasks. That's what you're doing. So that you're just somewhere else. That's all. So technically, you would say, well, that's another world, isn't it? Because you created it in your mind in the same way that you create this world.
I totally believe there's a dimension out there where I'm married to Haley Atwell. I swear. I try to get back there as often as possible.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Yeah. What planet is that?
I don't know, but
what Earth is
I have
that?
a good time when I'm there. I'll tell you.
That's the whiskey planet.
wish me planet. Yes.
Isn't that the holodeck on Star Trek?
Earth wish me. Only when the camera's off. Yeah.
If I was on the Enterprise, if I was using the holodeck on the Enterprise, I wouldn't be having.
I wouldn't be Sherlock Holmes. That's for sure.
Exactly. That's what I was going to
forget that.
I'd be more Hugh Hefner all over the place.
Yeah. Sherlock Holmes wouldn't be in there. But anyway.
Wow. I thought we were just going to be talking funny books today. We're talking all kinds of stuff.
We never
talk
about
device.
funny books.
Glenn, you're just underpinning the male stereotype. Now stop that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. Right.
Sorry.
There you go.
Well, talking about new books.
I will bet a lot that there's no person on this panel hasn't thought that way for 10 seconds.
Sugar says, "Oh, I've always wanted to get all the." Well, he said that before. It says, "I've only ever had a couple of issues of it. It's worth getting that. The story's been collected a number of times, so the reprints of that story's out there, and it's well worth reading. Just like the Kree Skrull War in Avengers. It's worth reading.
I've also got the Kang War coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That Kang War was crazy. That ran through mostly Avengers. Yeah. There was like a year and a half that Steve Englehart, I believe, wrote Kang in every Avengers story. And it was him just coming in from different time periods, trying different stuff. Hey, if I put you in this maze and bring out all of these, I grab all of these characters that just died and stick them in the maze with them. Will you win? Let's find out. Legion of the Dead. That was a great story. Had the ghost from Silver Surfer in it. Just all sorts of odd characters that had died. The original Human Torch was there. Just it was a crazy.
Are you
story.
guys? I'm sorry.
Pedro says I live in better Earth.
Really? Tell me how it's like.
We all wish we could. Yeah. Tell us
you
what
guys.
it's like.
Any of you fans of Frank Vazetta at all?
Yeah,
Frank Vazetta, of course.
Yeah, I ended up getting this. Yesterday.
Yeah.
Or no, last week, and I haven't.
That's not quite Frank's work though, but that's somebody trying to get close. Yeah,
that's Bill Sinkovich, I believe.
Is it okay?
This
I
is
didn't. Like I said, I didn't
online.
open it yet. My comic monger, Cashman's Comics in Bay City plug. He ended up getting me one of those, but then I got the other one, the Joker.
I understand Frazetta was like Frank Lloyd Wright, where he would have the entire painting in his head, and he just sat there for half an hour in front of the canvas, and there it was.
Exactly. Right. It's like falling water all over.
Yeah.
The Joker. This is the 80th anniversary book, and they just got this. This was fantastic. All different kinds of covers. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that one too. But
isn't
anyway.
it 83 years today that Batman came out?
Thing with it.
Isn't it what?
It was 80. It was
83 years today since Batman came out.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it was Batman. Here you go. Interesting fact where the universe was speaking to me. Okay. So my first ever Batman comic, the first ever file copy was sent late by accident, and it got to me yesterday on Batman Day.
Really? Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I was
really
wondering
cool.
why you posted that up on Facebook. That's sweet.
That's why, because it was I found out I didn't even know it was Batman Day. Okay. And I found out it was Batman Day, and I just got my first ever file copy of my first ever Batman.
Sweet.
Wow, that's
congratulations
talking,
on that.
Definitely the universe talking to me.
Yep.
I
still think Gotham by Gaslight is the best Batman.
I love that.
That's my favorite. I know I'm a Mike freak, but I just
one
love it.
One of the best. Yeah. Batman's such a universal character, though. There's been all sorts of really good stories out there. There's been clunkers too, but there's been good ones.
You haven't seen the Earth One. There's 3 graphic novels, Earth One, Batman, and it takes a slightly different view of Batman, slightly different story, but it's actually still honest. It's still true to the original concept, and it's really good. And is it Gary Frank?
Gary Frank
sounds
and
right.
Jeff Johns.
Wow, what
Jeff
an
Johns,
artist!
yeah.
What an artist!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Russ, what was that again? Batman what?
Batman Year One.
Year one.
Oh,
It's a
sorry,
series
Oh
of-
yeah, year one.
Earth-
series of
no,
books,
Earth
yeah.
One.
Earth
One.
one.
Sorry.
Earth one.
Earth
Yeah,
One.
I was
not
gonna
There's-
say
year
I
one.
read year
There's
one.
3 volumes.
Batman
Three
Year
volumes.
one was
Yeah, that was
Miller and
Frank Miller.
Mazzucchelli.
Yeah,
Yep,
I was gonna say I've
Mazzucchelli.
got that.
Also a
I
good book.
know I've read
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Interesting
No,
book.
I like the sort of concept they did with Alfred in Earth One. That was pretty cool.
There you go.
You know, like he was still the confidant.
Hang on.
and guardian.
Show it again.
of,
Show it again, Russ.
Batman. Oh, sorry.
There we are.
There
Sorry.
you go.
No, go ahead, Mitch.
I mean, still the guardian and confidant of Bruce,
Mhm.
but it's in a different context. I don't
Mhm.
want to spoil it, but it's pretty interesting.
That's good.
For me, there was a run of Detective Comics way back when by Steve Englehart again, I
Mhm.
think, and Marshall Rogers.
Mhm.
Or was it Roger Stern and Marshall Rogers? That no,
Was it the 70s? Like in the 70s era?
late 70s, back when Marshall Rogers was still with us. Yeah.
Yeah, that,
The Joker and the Joker Fish story.
yes.
Hugo
The
Strain
Joker
ran
Fish.
through that. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that
were
was
great.
a great storyline.
That they used that in the animated series, didn't they? That's one of the
Yes, they
first
did.
episodes in the animated series. Yeah.
Yep.
They used a lot of classic issues for that series. They did Bullet
Yeah.
for Bullock, which was I think Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon in like
Mhm.
'89 or something. They did what's the name of it? Oh, Appointment in Crime Alley. You know, where he's trying to go back on his parents.
Yeah.
I was trying to go back to the alley on the anniversary of his parents' death.
Who did
And
we lose?
all
We
these
just lost
different
Ted.
Ted.
Ted just disconnected. Joe, you're being quiet. Not awake yet?
No, I'm just listening. Besides, you're talking about a character that I really don't care for.
Okay.
I'm just not a Batman fan.
Oh, we all have our favorites. That's fine. Yeah, I can understand that.
He
Absolutely.
speaks very highly of you, Joe.
Only
Sorry about
only
that.
Thomas Wayne
No
highly
problem.
with me. Bruce don't.
Okay.
I'm a Thomas Wayne fan, but I'm not a Bruce fan.
I'm gonna grab like 3 books. I'll be right back. Just you're gonna watch me do it, but just give me a second.
No, just you can blank out your camera there. It's a stop
Right.
camera and mute right
Oh,
below.
that one?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
should know it by now.
You should.
Well, I received the newest Tall Tales.
There you go.
volume
Yep.
Lovely.
earlier this week,
We ran a cover of Tall Tales in our opening.
together with the original page for the variant cover of Love and Quarter 5.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Daphne sent me the cover art for the Revolt book that had Mischievous on it, just out of the blue. I'm like, you didn't need to do that. But
thank you.
Holy crap! Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so
but
much.
thank you, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Sugar says I loved the idea of freedom fighters with Uncle Sam. Yeah, they should have left them on Earth X and just kept it going. It would have been a great series. But no. Anyway. So many missed opportunities, so little time, right? Harambe War. Yeah. Could be. And Fazurko says, hey guys. Hey Fazurko,
Good
thanks for
morning.
joining us.
That makes me wonder what's going to happen with Earth 3. If I'm not certain if you guys read that 2-issue miniseries about the war on Earth 3 and about how they tricked Ultraman to get him into the Phantom Zone, where now Amanda Waller controls pretty much the crime syndicate.
Now I haven't been following it, but you know that Zaslav has demanded a reboot of DC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one.
Well, I don't
Another
know
one.
that it was it him that's demanded it? I don't know. That's true.
I don't know if he demanded it or not, but they sure are doing it, and
They-
it's more
they are-
lighthearted and happy-looking characters than what was
They
there
are doing
now.
a,
Oh,
they are
boy.
doing a reboot. There's no doubt about it, and they need to
The
because
dawn
it's
of
a
the
mess.
DCU is what they're
So-
calling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. I love Ollie's. That's all I got to say. Ollie's is where I got this one, but this is the 80th year, the detective book. Love this thing. It's been. I don't know if anybody else has it.
Yeah.
Randy, do you have it?
No, I don't. But
80 years of Batman, the deluxe edition. Fantastic.
Ooh,
The
look
more
at that.
recent Batman, I totally agree with Joe on. There's just, I was offered Bob Schreck when I was in San Diego one time. He said, write me a Batman story. I'll see, back when Bob Schreck was the Batman editor. So write me a Batman story and I'll see that it's printed. I'll work with you. We'll get it done, because he loved my writing, and I'm thankful to Bob for the opportunity. But I said, Bob, everything that Batman could do, he's already done, and they're already rerunning stories 3 or 4 times over, and it just wasn't a character I was interested in writing. But I told him if I could work something in his wheelhouse, I would gladly do Man-Bat and the Outsiders.
Nice.
I would love to do that. And
really, Night of the Owls was another one that I really liked. I didn't mean to cut you off, Randy.
No sweat.
But
it's a classic story I've told before on the air, so it doesn't matter.
You mentioned the Phantom Zone earlier, just a few seconds ago. This is what you want to see, Phantom Zone.
Hang on.
Okay,
there we are. That's great. I love that work. That artwork's so good, dude. The colors are so good, and then
Green
you got
Thanks.
Yeah.
Green Kryptonite.
There we are.
And he's reading Man and Superman by George Bernard Shaw. There's a clue.
Awesome.
Cool.
You'll see that soon.
Speaking of ollies, just a day or so ago, they ran a flyer saying they had a huge buyout, $1 billion buyout of DC graphic novels. Go to Ollie's and buy, that kind of thing. So I saw that, and usually when they run that ad, you have a day or so to get in there to get anything that's good. I got in there, and it was all just dark, abysmal, New 52, just brown, dark blues and blacks, and that's just the newer crummy looking, quote, realistic, unquote stuff. So a lot of people like that, and I give them that. But I went walking through the store, and I'm looking at the kids books in the kids section, and I ended up finding a couple of copies of this, and that's Super Dinosaur.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Super Dinosaur, printed by Image Comics.
Yeah.
And take a look at that price, ladies and gentlemen.
That's fantastic.
Let that camera focus. $2.99. $2.99 for a $12.99 book. And this I should show you the artwork here. The artwork is done by an artist I really admire. He does some great stuff, and he's local to my area. I'd love to have him on the program sometime. Named Jason Howard, who does some pretty incredible.
Very nice. Yeah.
And this was in the kids section because apparently they decided it was a kids book. Technically it's an all ages book, but it's got some great stuff in it. Some beautiful colors. Jason does the majority of the heavy lifting here, even though it's air quotes written by Kirkman.
Mm-hmm.
But there 6 issues per book. I picked up volumes 2 and 3. They didn't have a 1, but I figured I could get that off of Amazon. And considering the price of admission was only $3, couldn't go wrong.
Yeah, $3.
You can still do light-hearted Batman because we're doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So,
you can.
It's and it's colourful. I mean, I have to say,
let me blow that up, Russ. Go ahead.
The colorist we had on this was actually Brazilian, I think, which is a great colorist. And it's just it's good fun. It's a Joker.
Nice.
It's good fun stuff.
That's a whole different version of Batman though than what they're currently doing.
Yeah, this is it's for a particular market.
It is.
And it's for kids to enjoy. Got coloring in there as well, and
awesome.
Nice poster in the middle.
Of course.
Did you do the artwork for that?
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Because that's a homage to
it is an homage.
Tino Anderson piece. Yeah.
So
more modern updating. Yeah.
Several of the covers are homages to older covers. And just there you go.
You're happy with the results, Russ? You feel good about all of it?
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really good. I'm really, fingers crossed that it continues and that the kids do enjoy it, because I'm a big advocate for all ages comics.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I loved when I was a kid.
That's the next handoff, right? It's the next generation.
Exactly.
Sorry, Joe, you were saying
not been enough of that. So
it kind of makes you wonder if Darwin Cook was right. about when he around time he created New Frontier.
It's no wonder about it.
The reason why he created it that way is because the comic industry got too dark and too gritty.
Yep.
The idea of fun adventures, and even the characters don't even smile anymore. They don't have a sense of merriment or achievement in adventures. So I was wondering, it's like, well, maybe Darwin Cook was right.
Oh no, very much so.
Or he passed.
Yeah.
Right. Did you see the Ron?
It's another one of those artists who passed way too soon.
Did you see the Ron Friends sketch yesterday?
Which one?
The one of Batman.
Captain America, Batman.
It's Batman Day. I know it's Batman Day because he's smiling. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. You were talking.
Ron's been posting some phenomenal stuff too over on Facebook. Just great. Usually a sketch every other day or so.
You were talking about Randy. You were talking about the Ollies. That was $4.99 for that one for All Star. I didn't even opened it yet, so I'm really looking forward to that. I mean,
well, if you want to read modern Batman right now, your Ollies has got them, and they've got multiple. Mine had multiple copies. All of the Fables books in Overrun are there.
Got them.
Preacher, first 3 or 4 volumes were there. A lot of Batman, a lot of Wonder Woman, a little bit of Supergirl, a little bit of Batman, a lot of Justice League New 52 books were there.
And if you guys don't know what Ollies is, tell them what Ollies is, Randy, so everybody knows.
Ollies is like the odd lot. Say what, Joe?
I said I know what Ollies is, but I don't know what Ollies is because there's not one where I
nothing in Illinois.
Yeah. Ollies is an end run store. What happened with Marvel and DC? They were getting stuff printed overseas. And to get 10,000 printed is such a small extra cost compared to getting 5,000 printed. They just printed 10,000 and had them shipped over in shipping boxes from China. And then they took the extras and stashed them in a warehouse. And after a while, they got tired of paying rent on the warehouse. So they sold the overruns. They tried to sell them through Diamond. And some of the retailers, at good discount prices. And some of the retailers took advantage and some didn't. And not enough did. So they went out and they found a end run outlet store to pick up the rest. And they came in and bought them for probably nickel on the dollar. Yeah. And then they turn around and keeping the prices low, put them in their stores. So there were times a couple years ago, about a year before the bug hit, I was walking out with boxes full of stuff because I was running conventions at the time and I'd give them away as door prizes. Somebody would walk through or we'd pull a name out of a jar and, the name would come up. The person walking up, I'd see how old or young they were. And I'd pull a book out that would, match their age appropriateness. And I'd hand it to them and say, hey, little kid comes up. Hey, have you ever read Captain Carrot? Here's a great superhero book that you're going to enjoy. Here's a showcase, a DC Showcase presents of all of the Captain Carrot adventures. In a big, thick black and white book, Funny Animal Superheroes, done by Scott Shaw and Roy Thomas. You can't go wrong. Actually had a villain in there, by the way, called Salamandroid.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if Ollie's ends up getting Spank the Monkey, like that would be great.
I'd be stunned because I've never
be.
One. Yeah.
You guys don't know about Randy's Spank the Monkey series. You need to check that out.
Greatest comic book title in history.
It is.
Thanks.
Yeah.
When I first wanted
it on the top shelf back there. Yeah,
when Cry for Dawn offered to print the book, they didn't want to print the title. They liked the character. They didn't want to print the title, so I had to call it Shock and Spank the Monkey Boys. Special number 1. And then after all of this fiasco happened with President Clinton and Monica Lewinsky and all that, so I was getting fed up with Diamond at the time anyway. So I decided I was going to print Spank the Monkey, but the whole issue was going to be him flipping off the industry, Diamond especially, and complaining all the way through, giving the hassles that we as Arrow Comics had to go through it. So the title of it was Washington DC's favorite pastime, Spank the Monkey. And it's foolish. I've told this story before, but foolish me, I put, and it was Shock and Spank. The two, Spank was an angry monkey and Shock was a brain dead monkey because he had been experimented on too much in the lab and was kind of like Pinky in the Brain type situation. But I put the two of them wedged in a female cleavage with a bright pink bikini top on. And I sent Diamond the cover image, and Diamond absolutely loved it and thought it was, So cool. They sent it to Wizard. Wizard printed an on the edge section. Said anybody that puts two monkeys wedged in a woman's cleavage has got to be a genius. This book's going to be killer. And here the whole time I was going to pick on the industry, but then, you know, everybody wanted to buy the book. So I guess the industry wasn't that bad after all.
Man,
Kept the company alive for another year and a half off of that one book. I'll tell you that. We were able to turn that money around and over and over and over again until it dissipated.
All right.
But yeah.
Characters inside cleavage. Let's make a note. Okay, good.
I'd do it again if I could. I did a web strip that I actually used an actual cleavage and put spank in the middle of.
Think how many you would have sold.
Great shot.
Think how many you would have sold if you'd have put a gorilla between the cleavage.
Exactly. Yeah, or a gorilla and a dinosaur.
Or a robot.
That would have been it. Instant sales.
Or a gorilla riding a dinosaur.
Yeah,
Ooh,
with a robot. With a robot. Yeah.
A gorilla in
Absolutely.
between cleavage and then name it Gorilla Milk.
Had her in a purple. There you go. Yep.
Wow.
Had it in a purple bikini top. Would have hit all the base. Would have been great.
Earth 4. Earth X.
Yeah.
Triple X.
Or Earth Triple X. That would be on.
Yeah.
Chad says just picked up The Hangman from Frank Thierry and Reggie and me from Tom DeFalco from Ollie's yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Reggie and me collection there. Amazing. Lots of good stuff. Wife had to drag me out of that store.
No doubt. No doubt.
Wait, their first couple of shipments though in Ollie's were unbelievable. Showcase presents archive volumes for like $20. I picked up, and I just saw this today on ICV2, the Stan Lee Just Imagine series that Lee wrote or actually put his name to over at DC that all of these big guys drew. I mean, Lee and Jim Lee was in it. Just I'm not sure Boland was in it, but it was all really super heavy hitters. All did the one issue stories of Stan Lee reimagining the entire DC universe, and they stuck that together in a big omnibus version that retailed for like $125. Hardcover, beautiful packaging that nobody could afford. But Ollie's had it for sale for $25. So I was like, mine. You know, like I said, I walked out of there with boxes full of stuff for a while.
Yeah. That's cheaper than getting all the individual ones.
Right. It's cheaper than shipping. Right.
$10 archive volumes. I ended up getting a Commandy archive volume that way. That was good and early. I don't think it was number one. I think it was like 2 or 3, but they didn't have whole runs. It's like the Super Dinosaur books. They had volume 2 and 3, but they didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there was a Super Dinosaur.
There was a Super Dinosaur, and Robert Kirkman wrote it. Jason Howard drew it.
Blimey.
It's about a little kid and his super dinosaur going off on crazy adventures.
Glenn, do you and Russ have a place like Ollie's overseas? I mean, do they have something like that?
Not that I know of.
No, not that I know of either. There is a bookshop that's like, I can't remember what it's called, that does like cheap runs. You could always find a Draw the Marvel Way in there. It's always in print.
Yeah, we have those here that are in 5 and
nothing,
below.
nothing
$5.
specific like that. No.
Yeah. I was watching your show with Drawing the Marvel Way, Russ, with you and Randy.
Yeah.
And Glenn, and you're like, you can get it for free. And then, but it's funny because I went back and looked at it. And I'm like, I completely forgot about the page with the ink bottle and the, I'm like thinking, that's got to be archaic. These kids like a hieroglyph for kids because they don't even know what that is.
Almost, That's right. Crazy. Got the epic Star Wars collection.
Oh, sick, sick.
$5.99, and it's
$5.99.
$5.99.
That's great.
It's got all the early Marvel comics in it, even the notorious Green Bunny.
Oh, that's
art
awesome.
That Roy Thomas wrote. Green Bunny and Obi Don Quixote. Because they didn't know what Star Wars was or how big it was. But they were drawing that art before New Hope come up, so they were guessing. Roy Thomas was sitting there going, "What's the most crazy thing you can see in space? Big green bunny. There we go. A wabbit."
Oh, that was the architect to what's his name? Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah,
could have been. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me because they tried to ape the name Aniverse from me. And I had that created a good 4 or 5 years before that. Yeah.
Really? Huh.
I had to go up and change. I had people go up there and change that on Wikipedia. Believe me. You think you created Aniverse? You know,
Hey,
you
Joe.
created Bucky O'Hare. That's fine. You know.
Yeah.
Do you? I was going to ask you. I know you're a huge Wonder Woman fan. Do you have like was there a special artist that did Wonder Woman the best out of all
Peters, the first one, the guy, the intention, the
did.
root of the character is in the intention of the character. That's
Mhm.
the thing. And the intention from Moulton was to do an adult comic pretty before the undergrounds existed, and to introduce basically grooming's too strong of a word, but he wanted to show a lot of degeneracy to kids. And that's what he ended up doing. And that's, and Peters was his choice of artist at the time. So the Peters era is pretty good. And my local retailer just got or has a bunch of Wonder Woman omnibuses. I got all 3 of them sitting up there at the counter. I can't wait to read those stories.
So
now with an adult perspective to them, I can't wait to read those stories.
So Wortham was right, wasn't he?
I think I have a running theory that Wortham knew. Yeah, that somebody up there told him. I know. I also have a working theory that MC Gaines knew, because he was running DC at the time. He's the one that approved Wonder Woman, and he ended up selling his shares to national periodicals real early on, like in the late 40s, and left. And he went out and started educational comics, and the book that he did was picture stories from the Bible.
Wow.
And I think it was I really think he was serving some sort of penance, because Moulton told him.
Right.
That's my theory. I don't have anything to back it up.
Spectrum.
Because nobody kept notes on anything back then. It's all everybody's best memory. That's why this comic history is so diluted, and everybody's got their own story about their own version. Nobody bothered to keep notes on any of this stuff because they had no idea it would turn into $1 billion industry. But I think MC was feeling it from Wonder Woman, and I know Gardner Fox was fed up with Moulton because of the way he treated Wonder Woman in the Justice Society. Because he wrote they were going to induct Wonder Woman into the Justice Society because she was a hot character at the time, and
literally,
Moulton insisted on writing the story around what Gardner Fox had, the framework that Gardner Fox had written, because those old Justice Society stories, they all went off on their own and had an adventure that fit the theme of the story, and then all came back and compared notes. Well, after that one time Wonder Woman going out that Moulton wrote, Fox got so pissed at what Moulton had done, and I guess the way that he was treated, or the story itself, or Moulton himself, or whatever, he turned Wonder Woman into the Justice Society's secretary. She never went out again. Ever.
Oh, wow.
Until the very last story. And I think that came out, the very last Justice Society story, and that might have come out after Moulton had already passed from cancer.
Wow.
Did Joe freeze up?
Yeah.
He might have. Yeah. I think he did, Joe. Come back, Joe. Come back.
He's got such a collection. I can't even. I mean,
Yeah.
Joe's he bought a couple books from me, and it's just like I the artists that he's seen over the course of the last since the 40s. I can't. There's got to be something. I mean, I'm the Linda Carter fanatic. I mean, we were all grew up in that era, and that was. I mean, God's the best artist, I guess. But okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. No, but as I was saying, it's like what Randy was saying is correct. Peters, to me, was the perfect fit in the very beginning, because he had a great understanding of where Moulton was going with the mythology of it. However, when you look at modern Wonder Woman's type stuff, I really don't have a favorite. I've never been one to read a Wonder Woman book just for the artwork itself.
Yeah.
It was always about the different stories that was being told.
Yeah.
I'm more of a big fan of what they did in the late 60s, early 70s, when they finally got away from the quirky, one issue type stories, and they started developing more of the lore as far as who was all on Themyscira and the key principles on Themyscira and how those characters affect the rest of the world. I mean, think about it. It's like early 70s, you have to think about the creation of Nubia, the creation of Orana, the creation of all of these supporting characters to Diana Prince at that time. And that was shortly after the whole Ayn Ching depowered Wonder Woman, which was very interesting about her going through the 60s without any powers and learning karate and having to dress up and be an entrepreneur, which to me kind of gave me the bad feeling when they did the what was the 2006 or 7 pilot for NBC.
I didn't see that.
They did that whole
Diana
thing.
Palicki, written by David E. Kelly, who had just come off of writing NYPD Blue, I believe.
Yeah, and they did that whole thing about, oh, she's going to be like this corporate mogul, and you know, her politics was the name of the company, and Themyscira was like the branding that she had, and I was like, no, you know,
Well, that's why it didn't get past pilot stage. Yeah, that's why it didn't get past pilot stage. But Palicki is the first mate on the Orville right now.
Oh, got it.
They had shot a pilot with her as Wonder Woman. Yeah, that David, like I said, David E. Kelly wrote it, and at the time it was going to be a powerhouse thing until they saw what the pilot looked like, and they're like, ABC went, I don't think so, and they passed on it. She's at a corporate boardroom complaining that they had Wonder Woman's dimensions all wrong because she was too, shall we say, gifted.
No, it really depends on the artist, because if you ever notice the artist, it's like some artists drew her more bustier, then you have other artists that drew her more muscular. And there was never a real archetype for her. It really depends on the artist.
I'll tell you who the best artist was on Wonder Woman. God. Linda
Carter.
What
I said. God, that's exactly what I said.
That's what Ted just said. Yeah, Linda Carter.
Linda Carter. That's it. I was just seeing her on a talk show today, a couple mornings ago, and she looks fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Absolute. I mean, stunning.
Still,
she's in kind of wasted in one of my first crushes.
She's in the Flashpoint movie too.
What's that, Joe?
She was wasted in 84, Wonder Woman 84. She was
she?
wasted.
All right. I still haven't seen it. I got to see. We got to sit down and watch it.
So true. Yep. In the pilot, though, the Palicki pilot, there's a great fight scene in there that it also made them decide not to, not to air the pilot, where Wonder Woman's tracking down a bunch of crooks in a shipping yard, and she ends up kicking 2 shipping crates together with the villains in between them.
Splat,
squish, and it's like, no, Wonder Woman wouldn't do that. This one did.
That was arbitrarily. Like she had no other choice, she would, but no. On average, you remember, her motto is like, she will kill if that's the only option. And that was the whole thing about the Jason Lord thing, about why she was arrested and everything, because she had no other option but to kill him.
Well, it's time. She was just tired of running. So she just kicked the canister, the shipping crate.
Like, no.
Classic stuff. That's available on, last time I knew it was available on YouTube also, because the producers got upset at the fact that they canned the series. So they put the pilot up on YouTube just out of spite. So should still be up there.
There's a lot of stuff that, when you look back at it, especially dealing with Wonder Woman, you kind of like scratch your head and be like, well, it was the only thing available at the time.
Well, the thing with Wonder Woman is that it was created for a specific purpose, and it was one that they very quickly forgot. As soon as World War II was over, whoops, and then there's stepping stones to her evolution, which is really interesting if you go look, almost like a pendulum swinging back and forth. Really good, really bad, really good, really bad, really good, really bad. Over Perez had a phenomenal run. Gene Colan and Roy Thomas, I think, had a go at it at one point. Ross Andrew, for the longest time, kept her lighthearted and mythological back during those one-issue stories that you really don't like reading, when they had Wonder Tot and Wonder Girl running around. And
the creation of the Wonder Woman family is her evolution as she was growing up, and then all of a sudden those evolutions became their own characters. Like
everybody sees each other. Hey, how you doing?
Diana, Wonder Girl as Diana Prince, young Diana Prince, which started the Young Diana Prince series that we have today.
Yeah,
they're actually going back and revisiting that and showing what she would have been like as a teenager. But the Wonder Girl was her as a teenager, and all that stemmed back from Wonder Woman 2023, when she finally showed like her home videos that they took on Themyscira, if I remember that correctly, the original Wonder Woman 23.
Nothing more fun though than back in the 50s and 60s, those Wonder Tot and Super Baby stories. You know, I mean, they were individual. I don't think they ever crossed over. They might have though, but those stories were a lot of fun. Little babies with those powers going through situations, just fun.
Didn't John Byrne do a run on Wonder Woman?
Yes, he did.
Sure. Yes, he did. Yes,
he
did.
was responsible for Biker Chick Wonder Woman. That was after.
I remember that one. I remember.
Like I said, that pendulum.
Artemis. That was after Artemis won the contest.
Yeah.
Artemis won the contest, and he designed the Wonder Woman with the biker shorts and the jacket.
Bill Loeb's had a big run on that, where he filled out a lot of the mythology on Wonder Woman that they still use to today. The mascara and that kind of stuff.
Now, Adam Hughes had a great cover run for the later ones in that run too.
So did Brian. Brian Boland had a long cover run on there too, where Boland just turned in a bunch of covers. It was like Neil Adams and Superman. You just turned in a bunch of covers, and they took the covers to the creative team and said, "Do a story around that."
So Peter's the guy, huh? Peter's the guy though that you would pick.
Peter was the original guy that started everything, because he was the one that talked about the Greek. He did a lot of the Greek mythology. He was showing like the Romans and the Greeks in their armor and everything. He was drawing those type of things in the beginnings of the Wonder Woman books that nobody else really could have done correctly.
And his style heralds back to Howard Pyle and some of the old really big Art Deco artists of that. Just after he came in, just after that era,
cool.
And he, like I said, he was handpicked by Moulton. They let him choose. He was such a bigwig at the time. He wrote his own contract. He picked his own creative team and all of that. So, and he had two writing assistants underneath him. Most of the time physically, so they were both females.
It was just interesting to see the early artwork.
Crazy times
for Wonder Woman, because when you compare that to like a Plastic Man or Batman, you could tell that this had a significance, that they were going for the cultural aspect.
Sure.
Of a lot of things, like a lot of the stuff as far as like, you know, being captured and being enslaved and being in bondage was in what Peters was trying to do, because, you know, he kind of focused in on the historic aspect.
And it wasn't subtle at all.
No,
I mean, you look back on it now, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean
that happened about 10 years ago. Somebody went back and read that old material.
Like the sword fighting and the chariot racing and all the other stuff that was, you know, highlighted. They were done almost accurately to how it would have looked back then. Now, his art style was a little bit more cartoony, but it was accurate for that time period. I mean, Peters made certain that it matched up to what Moulton wanted to have in that book compared to other stuff.
It was one of those rare creators that had an incredibly individual style. You knew what a Wonder Woman story was. You could look at a Wonder Woman story without Wonder Woman in it, see the style, and know it was a Wonder Woman story.
Right. I mean, the whole thing about the college and the co-eds. That squadron of women, that was so unique that it kind of made you wonder where Etta and the rest of those girls are going to land up after World War II, because they were a significant part of the forces that Wonder Woman could have commanded during that time.
Their kids ended up fronting the feminist movement. Yeah. on purpose, anyway, also by design. But
thank you.
Some people did comics because that's all they could do, and their stuff is just dull, and you know, that's what a lot of the golden age is known for. You had other people there that knew that you could fire the imagination and just create a bunch of incredibly creative stuff, and those are the guys that really stand out, you know, to this day, and makes these characters major icons and brands. You know, that's the whole thing, and it's being able to find it's just like today. There's gold in amongst the crap, And
Yeah.
though a lot of people would argue about where those proportions sit, as with each time period, depending upon their love of nostalgia and their love of comics. So
What I find weird is that I don't collect sensational comics, the older sensational comics, as opposed to Wonder Woman. And the reason for that is because towards the tail end of that original sensational comics run, they focused more on the Steve Trevor Diana romance and made it more of a romance comic than what you was getting in the Wonder Woman books. Now, granted, sensational comics came out first. So if I remember correctly, it was All Star Comics 8, then Sensational 1, then Wonder Woman 1.
Well, I think there were a couple of sensationals in between that. And before one they didn't give a character their own title until they became popular enough to take it on. Then Wonder Woman was one of those characters. So same thing with Superman and Batman, running an action and detective for a while before they got their own title.
See, I grew up on Perez with Wonder Woman, so that's it. Perez is it for me, but interesting stuff. Thank you.
Perez was such a lover of comics and comics history. He was able to strip back to he did his best to take it right back to the original core. You know, Byrne did that with a couple of characters, Hulk and Superman as well, but I don't think he succeeded nearly as well when he did Wonder Woman.
No, nowhere near.
The only thing I remember
he took what Perez did, but he couldn't expand upon it. He couldn't figure out a way to expand upon it. He took certain aspects and he just made up stuff along the way. I mean, the reason for Cassandra being in existence is because he figured out that people need a Wonder Girl in some form or some fashion. He was trying to bring back the Wonder Woman family. Picking Cassandra, I still question it, but it is what it is. But she's now a staple in Wonder Woman lore now.
That's why they turned Donna Troy into Troya. Okay.
And he was responsible for Troya becoming more of a magical being and going into the arcane magics, dealing with being an Amazon as opposed to anything else.
Okay.
I told you he was the man when it comes to Wonder Woman. God, you know so much. Right? Sorry,
you're gonna say something, Glenn? Sorry.
Yeah, just as an aside, where is John Byrne these days? What's he doing?
Nothing. He's doing commission work, and this is a cool story about Byrne. Right now, he decided he was going to do X-Men from like issue 137 on, where the Death of Phoenix issue, because him and Claremont apparently had a huge argument over how that was supposed to end, and then Shooter came in and said, no, she needs to die. She wiped out an entire planet of salary aliens, and a hero doesn't do that. She needs to die. So they ended up killing Phoenix off, and then they brought her back umpteen times later. But Byrne has been doing what he calls Elsewhen, X-Men Elsewhen. And he's been putting up 3 or 4 penciled and lettered pages on his own site for like the last 5 or 6 years. He's got an immense body of work done. And it's the best, most beautiful John Byrne work you have ever seen in your life.
Haven't Marvel approached him?
Apparently Marvel offered to print it and he told him to go screw themselves.
But how can he produce it and post it when it's
fan art? It's fan art. He's posted it as fan. He's not making any money on it. Although there have been people that have pirated the material and have put it together into print files so that you can print volumes. There's like 4 volumes of this stuff. Each volume's got like 6-7 issues in it. And believe me, when I tell you, it's the most beautiful John Byrne artwork you've ever seen. It's got some great stuff in it. But basically, what Byrne did with the X-Men is they tore the Phoenix entity out of her and killed it. And it ended up leaving Jean Grey at about a 5th grade level. Wow. And so the X-Men, don't ask me why, but in their, sense of ethics or whatever, they take her back to her parents and they said, you need to raise her all over again. Drop her off. Sorry, we'll see ya. And left. Yeah. Wow. And then they go off fighting Magneto, and they run through Sauron and the Savage World, and they go through all of these other crazy adventures with the original X-Men team plus Sprite, and she stays Sprite instead of turning into
Shadow Cat.
Shadow Cat.
Shadow
Yeah.
Cat, right?
Wow.
Not Madeline. I would think Kitty Pryde.
And it's like a whole divergent in the multiverse or whatever, and they're only it's gray, and because it's all in pencils, and they're out running. All they had to do is convince John to let them print it and have Terry Austin ink the stuff, and they'd have made huge bank. Or have Tom or Jakowski go through and letter all that stuff. It would have been classic material.
Well, two things. Did Marvel bring John back as a consultant for their so-called one? I think it was like one of the X-Men books that they're coming out now that was supposed to have been like akin to like the 80s and 90s.
I don't know. I don't think so.
There is an X-Men 90s line, isn't there?
Yeah, I haven't been following X-Men.
He's a consultant on that. He's not drawing it. I think he's a consultant on it.
Randy, was it you
Maybe.
that said
Hope he
that
does.
Claremont was being paid not to do anything?
Yep.
Yeah, he got signed under an exclusive contract with Marvel and told to sit there until an assignment came and collect
Someone
checks.
to do that for me.
So they pay him to do nothing.
They paid him to do nothing for years. Yeah.
No.
I'm pretty sure
him off the
they're
market.
still paying him, only I think he's actually doing an X-Men book now.
Why did they do that?
To keep him from going to DC.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Why didn't they just get him to work for them?
Because they didn't have anything that the editors wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Once they just knew they didn't want him to go to DC. Yeah.
Well, how crazy is that?
Well, in the meantime, he had that exclusive contract. I'm pretty sure he had health benefits the entire time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he was covered. So
Fantastic.
it's like, you want me to do nothing? Okay. Got anything for me to do this month? No. Okay. It just
Wouldn't it be great if he was secretly scripting that burn stuff?
that would, quite frankly, that would be a small miracle because apparently the two of them didn't get along at all at the end. They were like oil and vinegar real fast.
Too much ego.
And that was the second thing I wanted to bring up. Isn't that the reason why there was a one-shot book called The Untold Stories of Phoenix? That actually
Something like that.
That
I think
actually
you might
ran
got-
that
yeah, I
story
think you
that
might
said
be
that
right.
left her as a vegetable because that was done. That contained the original burned ending to the Phoenix saga.
Probably.
You
I
guys
haven't been keeping track of the X-Men. So
You guys want to take a screenshot of Glenn
they had their
because that's
period.
actual sunshine. They don't have sunshine over there very often.
That's right.
Screenshot. Sorry.
I'm
have a lot of
sure I've
sunshine.
seen Russ has got curtains or a heavy blanket up against his.
Yeah.
his
Well, he's in
his
a
window.
basement.
So there's
Got
gotta
him
be
locked in
some
the dungeon.
sunshine.
No. It's out. I don't know if you can see. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah.
Ah,
Actual sunshine,
so you guys stole the suns from us.
Oh,
I don't
you
know.
You're
live
up
up
in the Netherlands. You're also lucky to have
You're in
sun.
the bloody Arctic Circle, mate.
Yeah, right. You get
I don't-
like
I don't
12
know whether-
hours of
I am-
sunlight, right? Or
I don't know
darkness.
whether you guys know this, but it's the same sun.
Yeah,
It
There you
is.
go. Yeah,
Thank
believe
you.
it or not.
Yeah, well, we got your
Galileo, I
clouds,
appreciate
that's for
that.
sure.
Awesome.
Glenn,
Because it's been
that's
raining
really
for the
deep.
last 3 days.
So, in other
Mike
words,
Jimmy
you're
gets
saying that
Mike
they're
Jimmy
trying to
gets
get paid a
daylight like
sun
20
bill?
hours a day right now. So hey.
No, not anymore.
No, it's not that.
That's
It's
really
not that
low.
far. No.
heading towards winter, it starts getting more dark than it is light up there.
In 21st of December, we have a day from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Well, they don't
That's
have
not-
street lights here. It's just the northern lights, right? That just light your way. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
No
That's
horses,
not-
just reindeer, right?
It's not that much different to us, is it, Glenn?
No,
Not a lot.
No,
not
no,
really.
the
but-
winter?
No,
No,
it's
it's very
No.
similar.
pretty dark around here in winter. Yeah.
I think I'm like 300 kilometers, so 200 miles above London. Like
Yeah.
from
Okay.
You guys
Yeah,
are probably the same.
Yeah,
He's
see,
on
we're
the same
latitude as
parallel.
me, I
He's on the
think,
same
or
parallel
what?
as me.
We're so messed up here in the States. We've always been looking at the same map on every school wall of the world, and it's got a very skewed version. Greenland is really big to us.
Yeah.
I mean, super huge, and Africa is incredibly small compared to what it is in real life.
Mhm.
So they had an
It's the
episode
same
of The
here.
West Wing where that was about a fictional story about our president, and they had some cartographers there one time as an educational moment during the show, showed what a real map would look like, and it was completely different.
Isn't
from what
that to do
we
with
see.
the way the
Nowadays, around,
vertical
even on the globe.
lines go round the globe, and when they stretch them out into
No.
Yeah.
parallels,
Oh,
that
grid.
they change the geographic areas.
Scale.
Not just
Yeah.
that, but they've
Scale.
changed sizes of continents on purpose
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah, I mean it's all
more
Make us
white
look-
dominance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't believe a
Yeah.
thing.
Or
Don't-
Anglo-Saxon
nothing.
dominance.
Question everything. Yeah,
That's why the UK is so damn huge.
That's
Yeah,
so
it's
that's
crazy.
so true. Yeah.
The Netherlands is like it. If you were to put the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg on a map, that on
Everyone would
real
laugh.
size. Yeah, no, like
Only what?
we would laugh because you would need an entire wall filled to maybe see a tiny
Well,
dot.
Yeah.
yeah.
If you remember back in the 90s when everybody was complaining about chopping trees down, I read that in Brazil and that area, Argentina and all down there, that they were chopping down enough trees that was the size of Wales
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day for
Yeah.
15 years. And I can't think that Wales is actually that small, and I can't see that Brazil is that big.
No, they meant
I think it's
they
called
meant
a
fish
lie.
whales. They meant fish whales, not actual physical whales.
Well, they did find a whale in the middle of the Amazon one time.
They did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did they?
found-
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Forgot
even
how it got
Wales
there,
have got to
but-
go on holiday.
And if you look at top of North, if you look at the top of North Africa from Morocco to Saudi, that Tunisia, Egypt, all that area, it's quite obvious it was underwater at some point because it's just a beach, So I think we covered this, didn't we, Ted? In one of
Yeah,
our
we
shows?
did. Truth mongers. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Every 12,000 years, they figure the Earth flops
Yeah.
90
Yep.
degrees, and
And
we're
it's gonna
about
happen.
due.
And it's going to happen next week.
No.
Stop.
Well, yeah, it could
Yeah,
happen
well.
next week. Actually, it all depends on if you read or if you follow the Quran or not. The Quran says September 23rd is going to be a disaster. Yeah.
Better-
we'll see what
this
happens.
year.
Better cut up in all
Yeah.
those slab comics. Start reading them.
Yeah, the climate scientists, at least the ones that I watch, figure it's going to happen between 2030 and 2040, and they're not sure if it's going to be instantaneous or if it's going to be a slow move.
What do you mean,
Well,
climate
The
scientists?
news today stated that I believe it was Taiwan that had a 6.8 earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
and
been
then-
7-pointers down in Indonesia for quite a while.
Well-
The last couple of days. Yeah.
What have climate scientists got to do with the geological change?
I follow a climate paleontologist who's a climate scientist
Mhm.
who goes through the hieroglyphics down in like New Mexico and Arizona and goes, you see that? That's actually a solar event that probably happened about 12,000 years ago.
Like a
You know,
solar flare or something.
yeah.
Or what?
Is
that
it
kind of
Robert
stuff.
Schock? Robert Schock was saying
No.
that about the potential for what happened with the Sphinx, because he was the geologist that
Mhm.
found out about the
Well-
rain, the precipitation marks on the
Yeah.
back of the
They
Sphinx.
they
saying it might be
theorize that
20,000 years old or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they theorize the Sphinx and the pyramid has gone through at least two near
Major.
extinction events. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't
they're
it ironic?
They're so
Is-
old, it's not even funny. It's
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
older than they.
Isn't
we
it
talked-
ironic that all the people who tell us we shouldn't fly about and saving the earth have all flown into London for the Queen's funeral?
Right.
Yeah.
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 On their,
Carbon-
on their pri-
huge
on
carbon
their private
footprint, yeah.
jets. Isn't that? And
Yeah,
then they all
right.
get in their gas guzzlers at the airport.
That's all part of
Right.
the hypocrisy. But a lot
Has-
of these millionaires too, your Bezos and your Gates and all that, all have hollowed out mountains down in New Mexico as well, where they can
Yeah.
get to within the matter of hours if something
Yeah, but
happens.
David Icke. Have you heard of David Icke?
The lizard
Who hasn't
guy?
heard
He
of
can,
them?
he can beat
Obviously,
that.
Russ has. Yeah.
No, listen. He can beat that. He's got a hollowed out bunker on the moon.
Does he?
So it does.
Which side? The far side of the moon where we can't see it?
The moon's hollow.
Oh,
apparently.
dear.
Yeah.
David
Li-
Icke,
lizard
my
people.
God.
See,
Yeah.
the thing with David Icke is that he's really upset because he forgot the fundamental thing. He forgot to build a vehicle that could get him to the moon. So he's
There you
got
go.
this real estate on the moon that's hollow to save him from the end of the earth, and he forgot to build a rocket to get in there. And NASA are fucked up,
Meanwhile,
and they
that
get
flat
a
Earth
rocket.
guy died in his homemade rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what
David
can you say?
Icke.
It's just-
I interviewed
David
David Icke.
Did
for
ya?
Undercover, yeah.
Did
for
ya?
Really?
Undercover magazine, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Then he pulled it. He wouldn't let us publish.
Oh,
Oh,
why?
I don't know.
Glenn pissed him off.
Don't know
Didn't
how
have
many-
enough purple on the page.
I don't
Pissed
think you guys
everybody off.
believe me. Yeah.
No, he was putting a book out, and he'd given us a lot of information. Right. He decided to put it into a book. So he sat there for 2 days, and then he thought, "Why am I giving these guys? I'll write a book about it."
Out of it.
Could hurt the sales of your book. Atrocity Press says, "What up? What up? What up, Max? Hope you're doing well." Says the Stan Lee DC stuff wasn't very good. Well, that's true, but you know,
the majority of it was.
Some of it was pretty. Yeah.
Some of them had actual gems up in it.
Didn't Buscema do a Superman?
He did. He did one of the front covers of the Superman book. Just
right.
Okay.
Who drew the Superman Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali thing?
That was
what about it? That was Neil Adams. Neil all the way through. Right. Yeah. And that's a classic book. I think that they reprinted that a few years back, didn't they?
Didn't he put people in the audience?
It went to 2 reprints. Yeah, it went to 2 reprints. I know it was like one a few years back, and then another one. I want to say about 2009 or 10.
Wow. Yeah, I've shown my beat up copy of it before. So here on the Sunday Funnies.
There's actually a map you can find online that has everyone in the audience, like who they are.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a key in the back. Yeah. Is the 7 to Eternity series any good? 7 to Eternity series any good? There's a bundle coming up. Don't know. Where's that? I need more information on that. Fazerko. Blue Teddy narrations. Thanks for listening. Good morning, everyone. Been trying to catch this for a while, but my brain really doesn't like waking up on Sunday mornings. LOL.
Likes all of us.
Well, fortunately for you, we're archived over on the Indie Comics Network. So if you go over there, like and subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already, on the YouTube channel, Indie Comics Network. All of our subscribers over there are organic, which means they actually exist. So please go over there, subscribe, like, hit that bell. There's sites out there that make up subscribers and make up views that we don't subscribe to that. So, and probably nobody here does either on their own individual networks and their own individual channels. And
grow organically or don't grow. Yep.
It's the way we like it. We like to know that there's actual people out there that are enjoying the type of program we're doing instead of faking. And anyway, let's not get started there.
Quality over quantity.
Yep.
Right.
Quality over quantity. Not sure what the 7 to Eternity series is, though. Anybody hear that?
Good. Sounds great. It's a great title.
No.
Yeah.
Could be like, I don't know, Space Angel. Who knows?
Did you find that Walt Disney Uncle Scrooge?
No, but it's on my bucket list. I'll find it before I pass. Same thing with the Batman 80-page giant number 8 that we have at the opening here. That's when I had my ass whipped with a coal shovel by my parents for sneaking into the house. It's great. All Dick Sprang stories in it. It's great stuff.
Apparently, 7 to Eternity is an Image comic book.
Oh well, that's why we haven't heard of it. No, never mind. Just kidding.
Wow, look at that.
Looks pretty interesting.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Artwork's pretty cool.
Artwork's gorgeous. Look at that. There's so much of that stuff that gets overlooked anymore, especially the image material, because they throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks instead of taking 2 or 3 projects and actually promoting it. You know,
it's beautiful.
It's
really beautiful.
Gorgeous work.
Okay, cool. Check that one out.
We're sorry we haven't seen it, but also going back to what we were talking about earlier, part of that big Ollie's buyout that they've got at Ollie's right now, a lot of that material is image material, and it's all books and titles I'd never heard of. So that doesn't mean it's not great stuff. It just means I never heard of it. So
the problem is Berserko, like me, is in the Netherlands.
There you go.
So I think you can order it online. Well,
Berserko, it looks phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. I don't know who the talent is on it or anything like that, but it sure does look pretty.
Great.
I thought I saw the name Rick Remender.
Let me check. Let me Google.
I can't with any confidence have a voice and opinion about Rick Remender. I honestly can't.
Randy, you need to send me your address so I can come pick up my spinner rack.
No.
So it's Rick Remender and Jerome Opina.
There you go. No.
That's my spinner rack. Thank you very much. And when there's hardly any comics on it, it squeaks like an old spinner rack too.
Cool.
Oh yeah, just love that. I'm gonna take all the books off of it and record that sound just to have it.
The screeching.
Yeah, because I talked to Rosema about that, and his eyes lit up like a kid in a can. Oh, that's how my mom used to know where I was when I was at the grocery store.
Right.
When she heard that squeak.
That's great.
It's missing the bottom bearing ring that lets it move smoothly. It gets stuck too much.
I can fix that. Just have it out at the house. I'll come get it and I'll fix it and I'll return it for you. No problem.
No thanks.
Okay.
It's all good. Original color on it and everything. It's all Rick Santman found that for me. He sets up at the shows that I have in Flint Farmers Market. He called me up one day and says, "Hey, I have a comic book rack. Do you?" And I said, "Yes."
They're great shows, by the way.
Yes, I do want it. Yeah. Oh, thanks.
It's a great show.
Doing it again at the end of April. As soon as I get the new date secured, everybody will know.
I'm there. Let me know.
It'll be good. It's always fun. Just a little one day get together where people can enjoy themselves and read some great books.
Yeah, I'll make
Rick
sure
sets up right
right
as you come in the door, and he brings reading copies, which is really cool. He's got a backdrop of golden and silver age books and rare books that he has in plastic, some slab stuff and that kind of thing. But in the front, it's nothing but long boxes of $2-3 books of reading copies.
Read them, grab them, and read them.
Yeah, and he sells a lot at our show because we have a lot of people come through that just like to read. It's like I had Dennis Barger on a few weeks ago on the Zimcast. He's opened a nostalgia store down in Monroe, Michigan. He doesn't sell new comics. He sells only back issues. That's all he sells. And he has long boxes full of reading copies.
Awesome.
So he's got stuff along the top, on the back walls and stuff, the more rarer copies, the more valuable books. And on the main floor, $3, $4, $5 comics, depending upon their value. The reading copies. That's really what we need to get back to more of. Is to encourage readership. Collectible market is amazing. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing, and I hated slabbed books for the longest time, but I understand the reasoning behind it now and the value in it and the fact that it can jump like stocks and all of this. Some of the variant covers I have a problem with still because the collectabilities there are shaky, but the golden and silver age stuff, some of that stuff needs to be preserved.
And that's the only reason why I strive to slabbing, because to me, preservation outweighs the speculation.
But I'm up there looking at the books that I have on my bucket list that I would like to own, and I see what the prices are slabbed, and I'm like, never going to be able to afford those. That's just
there's got to be a balance between the raw and the slab, but I mean, there's got to be. I always say get 2 copies, get a reader, and then if you want to slab the good one, go ahead and slab it, but get a reader. Have Jack Kirby get a reader with Jack Kirby's signature.
I had to double check the time. I'm sorry, but
I still feel this way. Sometimes, if it's old enough, if you're able to get your hands on a reader, slab that, because again, it has to be preserved. Good true reason of getting anything slab is for preservation.
Yeah, everything that I have back here, reading copies, they're all dog-eared. They're ripped to shreds. But it's some great old stuff. And I keep, every once in a while when I have time, I'll pull a long box out and run through it and curse myself. I've got all of the more Toddlebin beset Swamp Things just sitting in a box. Unwrapped, unboxed.
What, the originals?
Yeah, have them ready for me too when I come down.
I'm I really need to go out and buy some bags and boards so I can start preserving some of this stuff, because it's at that point now. They've been sitting in the basement for 20 years and they're getting a little. The tops of them are starting to have that yellow, that newsprint, that great yellow.
To me,
that's the best,
shipping out.
Yeah, to get that little haze of mold.
Figure something out.
I'll just take them from you. No problem.
The first 50 Teen Titans, Wolfman, Perez Titans sitting there out in the I'm like, I really got to get some bags and boards.
Yeah, you should. Yes.
Take a few weeks out.
Glenn's going for it.
Glenn's going for it. He's going to pull out his new guys one. Here we go.
He turned off his camera.
He's going to get something.
Either new gods or a strange tales. Yeah.
So like
something to both. Here, I'm gonna.
Here it is.
There we go. There it is.
There you are.
It's all falling apart. Oh, there it is. It's so sick. It's so sick.
And this one,
I have a clean copy, but that one's better.
This one you've seen before, and this is very historic This is the actual copy that my brother bought home in 1965.
Just as his camera freezes. There it goes. Okay.
that-
Oh yeah, the
that-
bird.
Ah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's the best, though, man.
Creating the
That's the
show.
best.
That's
So
the
see,
first one.
even that one, I think I would slab because it's at the point now where. But I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, Glenn. Totally, that you want to have it. It's so important that your brother. I mean, that's history, man. That's your history. That's awesome.
I've asked this before. What do I do about the signature though?
Well, I mean, that's the rub. You
know,
either
you wouldn't see it,
slab
would
it
you?
and tell
Yeah,
everybody that it's
exactly.
in it. They'll document that it's in there. But I don't know, man. For that one, I might just
And that's where I want to
You know.
jump down the speculator's throat, because if you get
Yeah.
it slapped through CGC, it's not going to be a blue label, it's going to be a green label, because
Right.
the signature is there inside of the book.
if it doesn't get lost.
and
Hopefully,
they did
God
not
forbid.
witness the signature, nor do they do verification.
Yeah.
Now with
Right.
CBCS, because it's owned by Beckett would actually authenticate that and would check to
Well,
see if
Why don't you guys give me an offer?
I already have. You just need to accept it.
There's a copy of Wah. There's a
Wow.
copy of Wah.
Yeah.
Why?
Wah.
What?
Ditko. Self-published Ditko. Yeah.
Wow.
I also have
I mean,
a beat
wow.
up, a
Wow.
beat up old copy sitting here. In fact, the body of this is sitting on the floor. Crime does not pay.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
cool, man.
Oh wow, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
52
I like that.
pages, full size mag. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
See,
That's
there's an
one of
extra
those-
staple in that one. You gotta-
One of those books that inspired the Comics Code Authority. Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, not one of the key issues that did it, but it was the title did. Yeah. Upset Wortham enough for them that the Comic Code Authority, that was one of the no-nos when the first Comic Code Authority popped up. You can't put crime on the cover.
Yeah.
Crime, horror, terror.
Yeah,
Just
because we all
to
know.
keep those books off the stands. Yeah. Because they were
Because-
selling in the millions at that point. Yeah.
But yet you got Wonder Woman strapped to a table or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
because-
sense.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
well, that's
Because we all know.
of course.
Those
Sorry,
stuff
Joe.
came later. And
Yeah.
when I say came later, they came like around like issue 30 or something.
There's Russ's
Got
stuff.
Russ.
Look at that.
This
There
is
you
just
go.
a few of those. There you go.
There you go. Readers. Yeah.
That's yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
an
no.
Adams cover? That's not quite an Adams cover. is it?
No.
That's
Kurt
a Kurt
Swan,
Swan
isn't it?
cover, isn't
Kurt
it?
Swan, yeah.
It's a beautiful
There.
Kurt Swan cover. Yeah.
That's great on the read,
old
and you
stuff.
can
Look
read
at
them.
that stuff. Yeah, that's why we have
That's
reading
great.
copies, you know.
And this
Right.
one's
There
actually
you
a UK version of Strange Tales. It's
Sweet.
That's beautiful, man.
Nick Fury and Doctor Strange.
Nice.
That's
And,
Marie Severin, isn't it?
yeah,
Strange
look at that.
must die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I've got all the reprints of that as well. But the one that I really love
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
is this
Yep.
one.
There you
It's
go.
$1,
Man,
and that
Rosetta cover.
look at
Oh yeah.
Alcala.
Oh, that's
Alcala
Alcala,
or
yeah.
Ernichua. Yeah.
No, that's not-
Alcala. At
Alcala.
some point,
Look at
one
that.
day,
Look-
look at that.
Look at that! Look at that
is that
picture. That one
Conan's
a
head.
profile of Conan's head.
Yeah.
That says it all right there. Right
Yeah.
there.
Oh
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
That's just amazing.
One day, when I have time and I don't have to get paid, so that I don't have to do a page, 2 pages a day,
Mhm.
I'm going to try and attempt.
See, Joe's off
a book,
chasing after
lot-
stuff too.
I'm going to try and attempt a book like Alcala.
awesome.
That's what I will try. I will attempt to do that kind
We'll
of
never,
that art.
never be
It
able
is-
to match that inking style. It's so
No,
distinctive.
No, I'm
So
not. I'm not
amazing.
saying
Yeah.
there's no way I could match that guy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that kind of sort
Mm-hmm.
of woodcut, lots of detail
Mhm.
and rendering. That I'm going to try and do that.
So
But it's
One of the coolest books I have.
I can't
is a
do it while
treasury.
I'm getting paid. So
Yeah.
mm,
One of the coolest books I have is a treasury edition of Land of Oz, which is the second Frank Baum Oz book.
mhm.
And all of the art in there is patterned after the artist who ended up doing the majority of the Oz books. I can't remember the guy's name right off the top of my head. O'Neill, I think it was.
Mhm.
But Alcala did all of the artwork in it, all in his inking style. It's just
Oh,
beautiful,
it's
amazing to look at.
beautiful.
I've shown it here on Sunday Funnies before. It's a beautiful book. I think they might have only reprinted that once since then. But
Yeah.
the only way to really appreciate that is in treasury size. It's like
And-
Kubert's picture stories of the Bible that
Right.
he did. And he did that cover on. A lot of that's got I think Alcala inside of it as well. Doing sequential art versions of Bible stories.
Yeah, that style that he's got there, much like Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
They are perfect for either sword and sorcery or horror.
Yeah,
they just absolutely nail it. And so the idea of being able to do it, because I wouldn't mind doing a sword and sorcery story after I've done the science fiction stuff, but I'm only going to be able to do it by giving it time, because that kind of work. I mean, obviously he obviously must have got faster and faster and faster, but still, there's just literally the volume of work on each page is incredible.
And now with the public domain rules going through, you could take just about any Robert E. Howard Conan story and do that.
Yeah. I'd love to do that.
Those Sumerian volumes are amazing. I think Amazon's got probably 4 volumes out by now, where they're adapting Howard stories. European artists just doing beautiful work.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal stuff. Joe, you got stuff to show off?
You got X-Men? What do you got?
No, I have the X-Men, but we were talking about Wonder Tot earlier. This was
That's cool, man.
This was
crazy.
Wonder Woman 23, the very first time that they talked about Diana in her childhood.
When's that from, Joe?
This is from 1947.
Wow.
Good Lord, that's great.
Wow.
That probably doesn't have any Peters work in it, does it?
Actually, the cover
is it Peters?
By Peters.
Is it? Okay, cool. So he's still alive at that point. Yeah.
Yes, this is Peters art, H.G. Peters artwork, and they were saying Robert Hugh Sale art also in it as well. And then, like I said, just because of beaters and whatnot, like I still, this is what I normally do. It's like if I do get like older books, like my Uncanny X-Men 1. Like this, I would get these things slapped in a heartbeat because I want to preserve them.
Understood.
They're on their last leg, and it's like, you know what? There's so many reprint copies of some of these books. Why would I want to keep these, out and about to get even further damage?
Hang on, Joe. I got to blow that up. Show that again, will you?
What, the issue 2?
There you go. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's
show your one again too. Yeah. Just great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody. I hit the camera button instead of the mute button while I was coughing.
It's all good.
Sorry about that.
That's great.
Yeah, beautiful. What's
So
what's the point evaluation on that one?
1.8.
Okay.
It's cool. See, and those are the ones I like too. That aren't
getting that in any number slabbed right now is a rarity. So
I mean, that's why we did the Werewolf by Night 32. It's a 9.0, but I had to. I mean, I can't not slab that. I had to make sure that one's kept for posterity's sake.
But it should be at least a 9.5, shouldn't it, Ted?
I think so too, and I think that's another show. But I mean, you can see there's 2 different versions of this. I mean, you can see the yellowing on this copy, and then you got this type of thing. See, this one I'd slab. This one I would read, and that's just the way. I don't know. I think that's the way to do it. I'm with.
I'll tell you what I do with those Thors. I'd slab both.
Yeah.
There's one. This one I really like though. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the teeth on that guy. I mean, that's just
classic
Kirby
stuff.
at its finest. And then, I love that one. I like Thor a lot, but I just love Galactus.
Is that John Romita?
This one, I believe it is.
Is it?
Let me check again. I can't. It might be Kirby. Huh?
It's not Kirby.
No, it looks like it was inked by Al Milgram.
I'll have to look it up. But
you'll have to pop it open and take a look.
Yep. Let's take a peek.
Could be Keith Pollard. It's a little bit newer.
We shall see. Drum roll, please. And these are nice because they're not perfect. That's the best thing about this. So we've got Jerry Conway as the writer, John Buscema.
John
is the artist. Mike Esposito.
I was wrong.
Embellisher. And then Artie Simic and Russo's letterer and colorist. And Roy Thomas is the editor.
Okay.
So, but that's. And what year was this? God, I don't even know. I should know this by heart. Sorry, guys. 74. You stopped reading then, right?
Yeah.
73. Reading comics. Sorry.
Yes.
Stop reading in general.
I mean, look at
Ted.
Look at this spread, man.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me blow that out.
Look at that.
Oh
that's
man.
sick.
Ah,
Just love that. I mean,
Look at the
and
motion.
even the
there.
feel, even the feel of the paper, it just sick. All right.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it.
Enough drooling. All right.
Ted, tell folks how they can find you.
Sure. Ted Davies Artistry, guys. You can check out everything that I'm doing at teddaviesartistry.com, or if you want to go to my YouTube channel, feel free to follow that. Anything Ted Davies Artistry, pretty much. Podcasting, you name it. I've got 3 shows during the week. We got Back to the Drawing Board on Tuesdays. Thursdays, we have Comics Unlimited. Let me get the book here that Glenn and I produce quarterly. If I can get it out here. Sorry, guys. And you can check that out. Our podcast is on Thursdays at 10 a.m. And we'll be returning back. I can get that in the picture. Comics
go.
Unlimited
Right
is the publication.
Boom.
There you go. Comics Unlimited is the publication. Check that out with Glenn B. Fleming's Amazon page. You can get a digital or a paperback. So
Yep.
check that out. But yeah, we do like I said, 3 shows during the week. I also have a show with John Celestri, Feed the Beast, which is about writing and drawing your comic. And then we also have with the producer out in California, Craig Hall, which I'm writing the scripting for Retrieve for live action. We've got a podcast that deals with taking your idea to Hollywood. So check out everything that we're doing with Ted Davies Artistry, and check out the new podcast too. It's not really new; it's been out for a while, but it's on Anchor or Spotify under Ted Davies Artistry, and you'll see a little bit different side of Ted Davies Artistry on that one. So I appreciate the time, Randy. Thank you. This has been great, guys. Thank you very, very much.
It's like I said, we're just talking about what we love. So,
yep.
Joe, you had stuff to show off.
Yeah, just
I'm gonna blow you up just a little bit there. Go ahead.
Other stuff that I'm considering about slabbing, like
oh yeah,
Ooh.
That's a great copy, bro.
That is
that's
sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Look at the colors on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
15, and I have issue 27.
Now you're just flexing, bro. Now you're
When are those from, Joe?
1960s, like 32 is from 68, I believe. This is like 67, and I
colors
forgot
are dynamite. Man.
and then yes,
Oh,
Oh man,
there you are.
this is from the mini series, but this is not some of the older Plastic Men that I have. I have Plastic Man older than this, but this is a Plastic Man number 1.
That's Barta, Hillary Barta.
Yes.
Hillary Barta, Joe Staten are like the 2 guys in modern days that almost get close to Plastic Man. Yeah.
Now that feel to me, it's like Amanda Carter did this cover, but this is the modern day Plastic Man number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, they try to get there, but
They try.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think people understand the magic of E.L. O'Brien. It's like
No.
a safe cracker, a criminal underground safe cracker, getting these type of powers and deciding to kind of be sort of like a superhero. In the aspect of after, it's like he's still, is still involved with all the underground crime type stuff, but he's now a superhero in a weird way. And then I'm still trying to finish up with my original Red Sonja.
Frank Thorne.
Again, another great copy. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
And Thorne is another artist that nobody, mentions much anymore. That's just phenomenal. It's got its own unique look, and just can't say enough good stuff about. And back when I was a kid, it was like, who's this guy? And then you get older, you get wiser, and you really gain a hard appreciation for these guys. That just amazing, beautiful work. Joe, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me right here on this link tree, which is linktr.ee/Silbo. That has all my information from where you can get my podcast or Saturdays to the company website for the CGC Studios, my personal information as far as social media is concerned, where it be Facebook, YouTube, DeviantArt. Everything is right there. The only thing that's not on that particular link tree is the gaming channel that I also run from time to time.
All right. Mitch, tell folks how they can find you.
Find me at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios, where you can find my website, apparel store, my web comics, and socials. I yesterday got the printed copies of Southern Gothic. I'll start mailing those backer rewards out this week. So look out for that.
Sweet.
If you backed it.
Great. We're going to blow Russ up here so that we can see his artwork one more time while he tells us how we can find him.
Yeah, you can find me at russleach.com, and there will be links everywhere you need to get hold of me, all the social medias and all that kind of stuff. You can pick up from Amazon if you want to see any of my books. Indifference Engine, Terminus at Fenton's Green is a horror flick.
Nice.
So those are from Marcosia. You can go to my website, russleach.com. You can also get a link to the Only Death Can Save Us website. And this is like a Bronze Age homage, if you like. You can still pick up an original version of this book if you go and pick up the second book, which is on Indiegogo at the moment. But if you want to see the edited book, which will be slightly different, and obviously this one is the special one, I'll be printed by New Haven for Christmas, New Haven Publishing. And if you want to see me in Doctor Who, last couple of issues that I'll be in, that's in Doctor Who magazine, and Batman's out as well if you want to see me draw Batman. So there you go. Get it all at russleach.com.
Cool. Sweet. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find all my books and magazines on Amazon. And if you want to get my latest book about Jack Kirby, get in touch with me at comicsunlimitedmagazine@gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook. And you can also see me on these podcasts, two of Randy's and one with Ted on Thursdays, Comics Unlimited. So yeah, just seek and ye shall find.
There you go. Yep. Mike, Jimmy, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find everything about me up on my Linktree /Fairies and Ents, and of course fairiesandents.com with all my comics that I'm publishing and just everything I do. And on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, I am live with Hung on Animation, where I'm working on the animated pilot for Live on Korra, my own flagship series. And on Saturdays, together with Marvy, Rodney Fike, John Silvestri, and C. Mike Lanning on Sketchy Saturdays, where we just draw for 1.5, 2 hours and have fun, talk comics, and yeah, talk art. So
Sweet.
Come hang out.
Great. And hey, everybody, I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over on Facebook if you look hard enough. Don't look for me over on Twitter. I do have a page there, but I never go there because Twitter's a cesspool of hate. You can always email me at thezimcast@gmail.com. Always looking for suggestions, comments about the shows that we do. The Indie Comics Network. By the way, go over there on YouTube. Tell your friends to go over and subscribe. Tell them we've got all of our shows archived over there. A lot of great entertainment. If you work in this field, if you are interested in this field, that's a place to go to get information and entertainment for this wonderful business we call sequential art. I also run a show on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called the Zimcast, where we talk about the finer points of the business and get a little opinionated. Then we also do a show called Comics by Night, which is on Friday morning at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. on where Joe lives, 2 a.m. where on the West Coast, where we talk about the bones of doing sequential art, the writing, the techniques, composition, drawing, that kind of thing. Over there, that's Wednesday mornings at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us for that. If you can't join us for that live, you can always catch us archived over on the Indie Comics Network. I'm also doing a series of smaller videos, also available over at the Indie Comics Network, called Drawing with Randy, where we're going through comic or cartooning basics, and I'm teaching how to draw specific cartoon characters. There's one up there already for Hot Stuff, the Little Devil from Harvey Comics, and there's a basic beginning cartooning 101 video up there at the moment. Coming soon will be SpongeBob SquarePants, how to draw hands. We're going to cover all the different aspects of cartooning and drawing, and then also specific characters that you might want to just sit and follow along with, because really all you need is a pencil, piece of paper, an eraser, and a lot of patience. That's what you really need. It's not to get frustrated. That's the key factor in working in this. In the meantime, we want to thank everybody. Thank you for listening to the Sunday Funnies for the 18th of September, 2022. We deeply appreciate you all. And we wish you the best. And we hope that you have a great week, upcoming week. We'll see you soon. everybody's got their own podcast. Go and listen to those and enjoy yourself. And most importantly, get to work. Remember, hating ain't creating. Just go out there and stop the trolling. Ignore the trolling. Ignore all the negative parts. Critiques are one thing. Trolling's a whole different aspect. Ignore the trolls. Enjoy what you love. Tell people what you love. Talk to everybody about the comics that you love. Give it away as gifts. Holidays are coming up. We've got people that even, I think it was Alternative Comics for quite a while, was offering bundles of Alternative Comics to give away on Halloween. So you can, rot kids' brains as opposed to their teeth. It'd be a great thing. I know Luke Stone was talking about doing a Halloween book just on, inexpensive newsprint, just to give it away to kids for Halloween. It's a great idea. Can't get enough of that. So, and let us know. You find comics, sequential art in some crazy place. Let me know at the zimcast@gmail.com, because I understand there's comics now at the Dollar General.
Cool.
Chain advertising the different toys that they carry. Some of the toy line that they have has got a comic that they've been kicking out for $1.25. So we'll see. I haven't gone in there yet, but I did go to my local grocery store and saw that there were at least 3 different Archie Digests back up there, because the time before that I had gone in, there wasn't any at all. And I'm like, oh boy, did they stop printing or what? But apparently they were just between issues.
Huh.
But Archie's still doing the Comics Digest collections back with when Archie looked really good, back when like the time when Joe had that color key for the Dan DiCarlo era. Ted had that color key for. Yeah. Sorry, Ted.
There you go. It's all right.
Just a great old stuff. There's so much good stuff out there. Go visit your retailer, spend a couple hours with him, go through their back issues, because you'd be surprised at the great stuff that you get to read. Not everything is realistic and downer, and everybody worrying about their sex lives while they talk over a pizza. There's some really, really great material out there, just waiting to be discovered. And when you do, let everybody know. We're going to go out the same way we came in. We wish everybody only the best. Any last words from anyone? Buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours. Anything else?
Ignore the trolls. Cross the bridge.
Ignore the trolls. Cross the bridge.
Bring a billy goat.
Here in Michigan, that means something completely different.
I'm sure it does.
Doesn't it, Ted?
Yes, it does. I don't want to go there. Keep creating, guys. Yeah.
See you soon.
See ya.
When your timeline reaches its Armageddon, what's a kid to do?
I'm not a...
Snag the keys to your mom's experimental ship, of course.
That's not quite how it happened.
Drift aimlessly in the rift between dimensions, trying to figure out how to operate it.
Now hold on a sec.
Pick up a few hitchhikers.
Hi! Hello.
And maybe solve a disturbing mystery that could lead to the destruction of reality itself.
If this time... There's always time.
I'm not so sure about that.
Get in on the adventure with the Rift Riders on Indiegogo.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the Projectile Reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo-kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
Bloody close me up on what ground? I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
You player!